Broadcast start.
All right, are we going? We're good. Okay, so this is the 5th session of Silent Skies, I think, and it's been 3 months, so it's been a while. Unsurprisingly, I think we need a little bit of background and some recapping. So, do you guys want to walk through all 4 of the sessions? Does Menander want to read all 4 of his letters before we fill in anything that's missing from them, so that we can?
I don't have to read all 4 of the letters.
We don't have to.
It's like the first 2 or 3 sessions I actually remember pretty well. It's
Good.
only the last session I don't remember.
Right. Like, I
Okay,
remember
cool.
the boat stuff, I remember the museum stuff. I have no idea what happened last session.
Well, I think the reason there being that it was kind of like an interstitial, it was like a little bit of a non-thing. So I'll run through. I actually watched back through the stream of it a bit, and you guys can always do that. They're up on the Desert Bus Survivors YouTube, where this will be as well, on where it's running live right now. But I assume no one's watching. Anyway, so you can always watch back through those to like catch yourself up. Hopefully, we won't have such a long time. Anyway, so what happened last session was you guys, after the boat and the island, do you remember what happened at the very end on the island?
We got in a big glowy circle.
You got in a big, very glowy circle, and you later learned that what happened in that big glowy circle that like knocked y'all straight unconscious was that you became sort of like open vessels for potentially the power of various gods. And the group that you have joined, that doesn't really have a set in stone name yet, is working to reconnect the material plane with gods that have been sort of cut off from the material plane and aren't as actively interacting with their followers. So a bunch of different religions came together. They set up this secret under island base in a bunch of caves underground, and they are working to do these rituals where they can take the vessels who were supposed to be someone else, but now they're stuck with you guys, um, and connect them to various gods. So each group is working on finding a ritual and all of the pieces of the ritual, all of the ingredients, and putting that ritual into motion eventually. You at the very so when you guys were on the island, you found out about that. You also the gauntlets, you tried to get the gauntlets back, but the Corel and Lorithian group was pretty adamant that those didn't belong to you or anyone else. Um, but you did manage to convince them to allow you to hand them off to a seer, um, who is a follower of Istis, who did some sort of mumbo jumbo with a bowl that was filled with water, and said that, and basically informed you that oh geez, what's her name? What's the name of the orc? Prang. Uh, Prang is on the plane of fire, or at least was. The person from Istis could not confirm to you whether or not Prang was still alive, but that was the location that she saw when she touched the gauntlets and searched for Prang. Aside from that, you guys visited with some of the different groups there. Obviously, you visited with Istis and you met Sunsheen, who you have named now Giftis, because Sunsheen runs your sort of crane game style magical item. Um, Giver or machine. You also visited, I think you visited the Alona's area at Hieronymus's bequest, and also because they had your horses, Keth. Um, and you met the tree dryad Vinto. Um, you also obviously at the store met the you met Archibald, who runs the our magical crafting mart, where you guys bought a bunch of stuff. Um, you also met the head of the clan of Corel and Lorithian, or the not the clan, the religion of Corellon Larithian, Joshua, and also the person whose boat you stole, or well, who was on the boat that you stole, Rain. And you met Mara, who is the head of sort of this whole operation, who is a follower of Palor, god of sun. So you kind of wandered around a bunch.
Hold on one second. Okay.
Okay, so you met her, and you went shopping. You got your magical items, and you all were told at the very end that they were kind of on the way. The Corellon Larithian group were in the process of finding a recipe from a very, 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 very old elf who should potentially probably be dead at this point, but she's still alive. She was alive when Corellon Larithian actually walked this plane, the material plane, before he ascended to become a god. And she has a recipe that is required for the ritual to connect one of the vessels to Corellon Larithian. So, anything that you guys have question wise, you want me to go back over? Do you guys have a good sense of where you are?
I have a drawing. This is not really. I have a sketch of Palin and his new sexy yet functional yoga pants, and I just thought that I should point that out.
You do?
Of course
so
you do.
so I don't have marked off Gunnar what Barry got as his as his magical item from the crane game. Do you remember? Do you have it written down?
Do you exist?
Helps if I unmute.
No.
The bronze over brains armband.
Oh yes, that's a good one. Okay, yeah. Okay, so Barry got the bronze over brains armband, which allows him to substitute strength for an intelligence skill check. Menander got some Fisherman's Friends lozenges that say Fisherman's Friends captivating cherry mentholated for strong accents.
You don't have to go over them. We all know if
Okay.
unless anyone doesn't know what they got.
Palin got the yoga pants. Sorry, I'm just marking them off. So I was going to mention them, but we don't have to. Then Saffron got. What did you get? Oh, the cloak of social invisibility. Okay, cool. So, all right. So it's like 4 days after you were warned that they were getting all of these things ready. That the Corellon Larithian clan was probably going to be the next group to call upon you for your help. And things have been quiet. But in this past day, there's been a lot of activity, but everyone's been far too busy to talk to you and catch you up. But you guys are, I imagine, all kind of hanging out somewhere together when there is a small gnome that comes up to you who you have not met yet. And he is carrying a satchel and he is out of breath. And he runs up to all of you and he says, okay, gather your stuff, gather all of it. Right now, we're going. This is super important. I hear you've heard slightly about it, Corel Lorthian and the ritual and stuff and the recipe, and we need to go now. So get all your things. Let's go.
Okay. I guess we go then.
He he does like a pushing away with his fingers motion. Go get your stuff.
Okay, so I go grab my bag.
Yeah. He says, "Oh, don't, no horses needed. Nothing, just things. All your things, whatever, clothes, items. I hear you got one of you has a gourd. Might be useful. You're a chef over there, right? You do cooking things. He points at Keth. I
Yes.
heard you do a cook thing. Very good. Okay, all your stuff, good, out the door. Now,
What's out the door?
well, out this door, and then we're going to go to another door past a hallway, and then we're going to go to a very special door. And then after that special door, you guys are going to compete. But we got to go. We'll talk about it as we're running down the hallway. We've got, he pulls like a timekeeper out of somewhere in his pockets, and he's like, we've got 0 time. Let's go.
Okay, so we go.
Does everybody gathers all the things, I imagine? And actually, he before you actually leave, he turns around and he looks at you guys, and then he counts. He goes 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what I thought. So he searches in his bags and he pulls out some raggedy clothes that kind of look like what a servant's outfit would look like. Kind of. You guys are all dressed in adventurer's gear, and this looks like a lot more plain, a lot more simple, something you would give to a servant in a household. Nothing fancy though. And he looks through all of you, and he throws that at Haramis, or well, at Zan, and he says, "Sorry, only 4. You'll have to pretend to be the servant. I don't know how this is all gonna. Okay, let's go." And so he starts running off down the hallway,
As fast as his gnome legs can take him.
which is truthfully probably not that fast for most of you. Probably all of you can walk with a strong stride, but not run, and you can still catch up to him pretty quickly.
Because he's a gnome.
Yes, he's a gnome. So as he's running, he's shouting over his shoulder. He's like, "Okay, so here's the situation. The old lady who has the recipe. It's a very important recipe. I think you've heard about the recipe. The only time she comes out of her house, she's very old, and she's very sick because of that. And she judges this competition, and this competition is about cooking because she's just the chef. And so we've entered you guys, but there's only 4 slots that we've entered you guys into this competition, and we gotta go to the competition, and you guys are gonna compete, and then you win. Hopefully, you gotta win, and if you win, you get to meet with her, and then if you meet with her, then you get the recipe, and then you bring the recipe back, and then we're good. We're good. Okay? Got it?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I stopped my stopwatch and I'm like, yep, that was a new record for words per minute. We're good.
All right, fine, I don't care. Let's go. And he keeps running, and
On
he's
this
still not
episode
moving
of
that
the Great
quickly.
British Bake Off.
I don't know what you're talking about, but yes, it's called Chefs of Iron, and it's great. It's really good. Have you ever gone and seen it? You should see it. It's really good. All right. And then he's like, you've been walking through hallways that you haven't been through before, and you've walked into an area that's very adventurer focused, and there's lots of people who look like they wandering, they're kind of adventurer types, and there's iconography on the wall that some of you might realize is related to Farlong, the god of horizons and travel. And so I think Palin, that would be most you would notice that.
Yes, I would definitely notice that.
So there's lots of the rising crescent sun, I think is his symbol, and so that's all over the place. But the gnome is moving, and people are not paying any attention to you because they're busy. And he walks you to there's a big archway that's got the crescent over it, and in that archway is a very large, very intricately carved door. Not like that it's got designs on it. It looks perfectly straight on all edges. The hinges are huge and very hefty, and on it is a very large handle that looks like it actually turns. It isn't just a normal pull for the door. It's got a dial almost built into it. And so this your gnome friend, whose name you haven't caught yet because he hasn't told you, walks up to the door and starts fiddling with the knob. And he says, "Okay, so this door is magic, and it's going to take you directly where you need to go. And I'm just putting it in now, and you're going to go through the door, and then you're going to be at the Chefs of Iron, and then you're going to compete, and it's going to be good. So you just got to take your stuff through, and the doorknob on the other side, if you ever need to come back, you have to turn it 3 times left, 2 times right, 3 times left, and 1 time right again, and then it'll open this door back up, and then we'll all be good. And then, oh wait, okay, hold on. All right, hold. Okay, 3 times left, 3 times right, 1 time, 1 time left again, and then 2 times right again. Yes. Wait. And he goes and he wanders like he quickly runs off to someone else, and then he's talking with someone else really quickly, and he's like 3 2. All right, he comes back over. Okay, 3L 3R 1L 2R. That's right, that's the one. 3L 3R 1L 2R. Yes, got it. Someone write it down. Someone writing this down.
Yes.
No, 1 and then 2. LR. Got it. Good. Okay. And then he opens the door, and inside the door is like kind of like a hazy, magical kind of aura, and you can't really see what's through it. And he says, "Well, go."
After you, Mary?
Just go. And he starts like pushing you, but he's a gnome, so he's not doing a very good job. He's just pushing.
I look down at him.
He's just like pushing on your leg. He's like, "Go." Okay.
Boss?
Okay, so Keth walks through, and Keth, when you get to the other side, you're actually in just kind of like a simple room. It's got a bunch of couches, chairs, and it's got actually like a little bowl in the center of a table that's got like various fruit on it. Um, there's some paperwork strewn about. There's on the wall it says like Chefs of Iron, and there's actually a further door on the other side from the door that you're on, and it is opening as you walk in. Like someone's fiddling with the doorknob, but it seems to be locked from the inside.
I keep forgetting to unmute myself when I speak.
Yeah, so Keth walked through, and that's what you see. You see like a room with lots of couches and stuff.
There's no people in it?
No people, but someone's trying there's a door on the opposite wall from the one like directly opposite from where you're coming in, and someone's trying the lock, but the door is locked from the inside, from the side that you're coming in from.
Okay.
So you can unlock it if you want, but not everyone's through the portal yet.
I'm going to wait for everyone to get through the portal.
So does everybody else follow?
Yeah. Mineta
Yeah.
was told that the gourd was important, so I'm going to, like, arms outstretched, this thing, as far away from me as possible, walk through the portal, gourd first.
Okay, first. Okay, so you all walk through, and actually now you hear knocking on the door, Keth and everybody else that's come through, and it's just like, hello? It's time. You guys are running a little late. I heard that you didn't arrive yet. Are you in there?
Yeah, just 1 second. We're putting our collective pants on.
Why are you taking your pants off in the green room? Okay, well,
Don't question our lucky rituals.
okay, well, I mean, if you need different pants, there's a closet in there. I don't know if there are pants in it, but also we're starting like now. All of the other contestants are ready, so please come on out, guys.
Okay, so is everyone through?
So everyone's through, and Haramus's character Zan. Zan is like putting on his little servant's outfit, and in it is just sort of like a clipboard and stuff. And it seems like maybe he's not supposed to be competing with you guys. And actually, on his clipboard is sort of like a little piece of paper that has your names, and you're listed as like contestant 1, team 4, contestant 2, team 4, contestant 3, team 4.
Oh, wait, do we have a team name?
It just says team 4. But you guys are you if you want to make up a team name, perhaps you can
We are Team Bear.
Team Bear. Well, okay. That's gonna be interesting. All right, so the lady's knocking. She's like, are you ready?
Okay, I guess I unlock the door and swing it out. Wait.
Yeah. What?
I get dressed up inside my chef's outfit first.
Oh, okay. So
Yes.
Keth's in his chef's
And
outfit.
then I open up the door. I can change as an action, so I'm
Okay.
just like pull off my clothes, and then there's a chef's outfit underneath.
All right. So Zan's dressed as like your little servant boy, and he's got his clipboard. You guys are all there. So a human woman, a kind of thin, sort of pretty human woman, is standing outside. She's got her own clipboard. She's like looking at timekeeper. She's 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 looking around, and she's like, okay, all right, so 1 2 3, okay, so I assume this is your,
This is my servant.
okay, that's fine, as long he can stay on the sidelines. He can't come into the arena. We have a maximum of 4 per team, I'm sure you know.
He will have to be recording my every move
Okay, but he
for
can do that.
posterity.
Okay, but he's not going to be allowed in the arena. That's just how it goes. But he can watch. Everybody's going to be watching. It's a whole thing. It's a show.
But how will he see my dexterous activities that I'm performing?
There's magical. There's magic. I don't know how it works. Someone gets this to all the people who aren't physically at the arena. I'm just the PA. Let's go. We've got to go.
Fine.
So
That wasn't going to work anyway. I tried.
So she walks you through the hallway, and she's like, okay, so here's how it's going to go. You guys are going to step out. The other teams are probably already out there. The announcer is going to start the show, and then you're going to be informed as to the first step. Every year, Chefs of Iron is a little bit different. This year, I think, is going to be really exciting. But the first round changes. All the rounds change. So we'll lay down the rules. You guys will meet the other contestants, and then we'll get you all started. And then there'll be a little bit of a break where we do some administrative stuff, and then you guys will get started. So that's how it's going to work. You guys already, you're going to be able to introduce yourselves. You good?
I look at everyone like, sure.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. And so as she's walking, you guys get to an archway, and you've been walking along like a hallway, and you move into sort of like a wider hallway that actually has stairs up into stands, like a giant arena. There are people all in the stands, but there are also these sort of like big magical eyes that are floating around above all of the people, and you imagine those are somehow transmitting what's happening here elsewhere. They're moving around. They're like dipping down into the crowd. They're moving around the arena, and in the arena, there's actually what looks to be like a really large house just sitting in the middle of the arena, and in front of the doorway, there's like double doors into the house. In front of the double doors into the house is a very animated dwarf wearing a very shiny outfit. It's a female dwarf, and then you see a taller, skinnier elven man, and then you see other people who you assume are the other teams. And in the other teams there's one team that is a large, beefy human, and next to him is a polar bear.
Okay.
And then, set aside from them, is an animated suit of armor who is holding a big jar that is filled with little creatures that are flying around. And next to the animated suit of armor, there is a walking tree. And then next to that group, you see like a very weird, like you can't really make out what this person is. There's like a very, very tall person in a very large trench coat with like a hat and like a cloth mask, is wearing like big weird gloves and like a scarf. You can't make heads or tails. But next,
Can we see any of his skin?
No, he's totally covered. Like big boots,
Okay.
everything. Very weird. Next to him, more concerning, is an owlbear. And on a cart next to the owlbear is a large gelatinous cube. And these are the other contestants. So as you come in, the female dwarf sort of motions you over to make your place next to the gelatinous cube. Over there. Okay. Go. I assume you guys follow directions, but Zan is held back by the PA. So
Okay.
the four of you all go forward and take your place. And once you guys are all set, and they see you in place,
I missed all of the I was trying to write down the teams, and I missed all of them.
okay. Well, let me walk through. Okay, so
just
Team 1 is a large human man and a polar bear.
That's it.
Yeah. Team 2 is an animated suit of armor, a jar with some sort of swarm in it, and a tree. And team.
So hold on. Jar with swarm.
Yes.
What was the tree?
A tree.
And
then the last one is
no. What was the first one?
This is just like you can't tell. Someone in a trench coat with like a lot of.
That's on
clothes
team
on.
2.
That's team 3. The team 1 is the team 1 is just the Alex.
Blaine, look at my screen. The first one in team 1 I missed because I was typing all the other ones.
Oh, okay. Sorry guys. Animated armor.
Thank you. Jeez.
Alex is taking copious notes.
I always do, but you just talk so fast. 3.
Weird person in lots of clothes.
Trench coat. Trench coat? I'll fix spelling later.
Owl bear.
Owl bear.
Gelatinous cube.
Cube.
Okay. Everybody else set.
Yes.
Ready for me to move on to the part that's actually important. Okay, cool.
I am prepared.
All right. So, once you guys are all in place, the dwarf in a voice that is louder than could possibly be non-magical says, "Welcome everyone. Welcome to this year's Chefs of Iron." And the crowd, claps, but it's obviously louder than the claps that crowd could possibly put on. Even though the stands are relatively full, it sounds like an ocean bearing down on you. And the elf, the tall, lithe, black-haired elf man, pulls out from his pocket an iron ingot, and just takes a big bite out of it, which you realize is completely impossible. So there's a lot of magic happening here. And he just takes a bite out of it, and he looks like it's the most delicious thing ever. And he like poses and poses, and he says, "This year's teams are even more interesting than last year. It's going to be a good competition. Step 1 of Chefs of Iron is always create your kitchen. And that's today's challenge for our 4 teams." And so he points over to team 1, the dude and the polar bear, and he says, "Please introduce yourselves, team 1, the terrors from the north." Hold on.
This is all very.
This is a thing.
It's a thing, yes. That's the best way to describe it, I think.
Menander has never cooked a day in his life. He married a baker.
Barry boils rabbit.
I mean, Palin knows how to do fire things.
Zella appears
Menander
to be
has a
muted
gourd.
again.
I am muted. Okay. I got the feet gourmand.
Please just stop muting yourself. It's okay.
It echoes.
Okay, but barely.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Just keep it on. It's
Okay.
very
So, we need to come up with our team name. It's got to include bears in some form or fashion.
Even though there's an alternate bear who could.
I thought our band name was Swords to Plowshares. Why don't we just use our band name?
That's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a pretty good band too. I forgot about that. Okay.
Okay, so the terrors from the north, Bobo Blog and Addy. And Bobo Blog, he points to the veteran guy, like older, sort of grizzled human man, who's like smiling real big smile. And then the polar bear, who's just sort of
Andy?
Addy, Attie, Addie, the polar bear, just sort of does like rawr, you know, like you'd expect a polar bear to do. And then it's like, and then the dwarf lady turns to Team 2 and says, "And Team 2, our odd triplet. Here we have Sir Clunkington, a jar of quippers, and Oakmere." And so Sir Clunkington is the name of the armor. The jar of quippers is called a jar of quippers, I guess. And then Oakmere is the tree.
This is a
Clippers.
very weird show.
It's a jar of quippers.
Okay.
Team 3 over here is and so the lady walks up to the really tall person in a trench coat and is like, "What's your name again?" And then she's like, she's, sounds like she doesn't understand. And she keeps coming back. So she stops and she's like, our tall friend here is a part of Team Shady Guys. Shady Guys? Shady Guys? Okay, Team Shady Guys. We've got Shady Guy number 1. Then we've got Swoops. And, Globular. So,
Great names.
Shady Guy, Swoops, and Globular. And clapping. And then the elf man who ate the iron walks over to you guys and says, "And our final entrance into this wonderful sport and this great 3-phase competition is Team," and he pauses,
Swords to plowshares.
"Swords to Plowshares, including
Gorgon Ramsay.
what?
Gorgon Ramsay. That's my name.
Gorgon Ramsay and."
Barry.
So, do you just like walk him through all the names?
No. I point to Barry. I'm like,
Barry,
"Come
what
on."
do you say? Barry, what do you say your name is?
Can I like roll and then pick up something really heavy?
There's not anything near you guys right now. It's just sort of like an empty
Just-
floor. You guys have
Just
your
pick up
equipment.
Menander.
You could pick up any one of the people in your party if you want to.
Okay, I throw Menander into the air.
Okay, that
Do you
seems.
catch him?
You catch him, hopefully. Make a dexterity check.
16.
Okay, you catch him.
Am I allowed an action while I'm in the air?
Yes.
Sure, yeah.
What are you
Of
doing?
course.
This is
You
the
can
greatest.
say yes, Alex, for me, but yeah, sure.
No, I'm not. I just like this.
Okay,
I have a
great.
spell called Thaumaturgy, which
Oh.
allows me to cause a ghostly or ethereal sound, and it
Yeah.
offers the rumble of thunder. So
Oh,
as
cool.
he picks me up, I would like to cast that.
Okay, cool. So Barry picks you up, throws you into the sky, crack of thunder, and rolls across the arena. And Barry, do you actually say what your name is, or
I actually do, and I kind of point to him when he's doing this. I'm like, "It's the Bear King."
the Bear King? I gotta keep these straight now. What was yours, Gorgon Ramsay?
Yes.
Which is just so good.
I had to think of something immediately. I'm like, ah.
When you say the Bear King, the polar bear,
I know it's.
he just doesn't look pleased. I don't know how you know that a polar bear doesn't look pleased, but it doesn't look pleased. You can intuit this with your strong sense of knowledge about bears. Anyway, okay, and then I assume someone wants to introduce, or Menander, do you want to introduce yourself?
I don't have a stupid name for myself.
So you just want to go with Menander?
I mean, in character, I would like to follow Ket's example, but out of character, Michael cannot follow Alex's example.
Okay, well, hold on. We can brainstorm for a second.
We
if
got
you want-
Bobby Flay was another cook, the famous cook.
I don't know. There's so many. There's What's her
Emerald
name?
Lagasse. There's
There's Emerald Lagasse. There's so many famous chefs. I'm trying
Alton
to think.
Brown.
Alton Brown. I'm trying to think of like really big. There's like Julia Child. There's just trying to think of really big chefs. I mean, the Bear King doesn't have to do with chefs though.
no, but I picked the Bear King so that I'm trying to. I want Barry and the bear to fight. That's just like
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Reasonable. So you could choose, and it doesn't have to be cooking related, though you do have a gourd. But
okay. So do you want it to be a pun off of a famous chef, or do you just want it to be vaguely theatrical?
No, I like the theatrical aspect of what you're doing. I don't.
So you're a pirate, sort of, and a dad, well, a sailor, not really a pirate. You're a sailor, a gay sailor, and a dad, and you have a gourd. I mean, it would have made more sense to do Gordon Ramsay for him.
No, I did the first thing that came to my mind.
Okay.
I've been watching like fucking Monster Factory all day, so all I can think of is Knife Dad.
Okay, sure.
Wait,
Nice, Dad. You want to be? You
he could be like Lord Poseidon or something like that.
Okay, we could do.
He's the master of that seafood.
Okay, do we want to do that? Menander, it's your name.
The Lord of Seafood,
Poseidon.
The Lord of Poseidon, Lord of Seafood.
Yeah.
Is that good?
I kind of love it.
I don't know how to spell Poseidon. Poseidon, whatever. Lord of
I think
Seafood.
I spelled it right.
I don't know. I definitely didn't. Probably. Oh, it's Poise-Iden. Yeah, okay. I did not.
Oh, poise? No. Okay, we're both wrong.
Oh, maybe? I don't know.
I haven't. I actually realized I also have no idea.
Poseidon. He got it. Oh, not Ramsey. Gordon Ramsays.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even stupider. Love it.
There's apparently a pub here that's named.
Also, that would make
Poseidon.
even more sense for me because I'm from the part of the Sword Coast that's modeled after like ancient Arabia and Egypt.
Oh well.
I should have been Gordon Ramsays.
He should have been
sorry.
Gordon. Yeah. Anyway. Okay.
We'll have to have a talk and be like, dude, you fucking stole my name. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Okay, Poseidon, Lord of Seafood, and the point
Hi, I'm the dragon.
Okay, and hi, I'm a dragon.
Wait, he goes into the microphone. He's like, hi, I'm a dragon.
So it's I'm a dragon.
Hi, I'm a dragon.
We're just gonna call you a dragon, and a dragon. Yay! And so this crowd's cheering but kind of confused.
Can I do a? Can I?
Oh man, I do have the minor illusion cantrip. Can I breathe fire?
Sure, of course.
I breathe fire.
Okay, then the confusion just turns to like genuine cheers. People are super excited for you
I feel
guys.
like as a Dragonborn, you could probably just breathe fire regardless.
I mean, yes, but
don't waste
that actually like deals combat damage, and I need to take a short rest.
Yeah.
Cantrips I can just do.
So everybody's cheering, everybody's excited, people cheering, and so the announcers go, "It's time to begin. But first, we'll walk you through the wonderful maze that we have made for our contestants." And so one of them walks off, and like all of those eyes follow them in through the door, which they shut quite quickly behind them. And the smaller dwarf lady is left with you, and she says, "All right, here's the thing, guys. Not allowed to kill each other. Obviously, this is a show. Combat is allowed as of last season, where we had sort of a mishap and everybody loved it. So combat is totally allowed, but I need to see all of your weapons. I'm going to give them sort of non-lethal damage spell upon them, and also enjoy these treats." And she pulls out like a tray of beautiful little like crackers with some sort of mousse on them, and they just look delicious. They're fantastic. There's a couple of them that are like a little look like they're savory. They've got like little bits of spices on them, and a couple of them that have like sugar sprinkled on them. So you get to choose which one you want. And then you also have some guards come over of various races, and they sort of have these wands, and they're asking you for all of your weapons and all of your items that you have on you, and they're enchanting them with a non-lethal spell. There's a specific spell.
Mercy?
Mercy. Yeah, everything's being enchanted with mercy.
Well, that may be Fire Emblem. Whatever.
I don't know, whatever.
I mean, you're the GM. You get to make shit up. That's how this works.
Yeah, sure. Mercy. So all of your damage is going to be non-lethal. You'll be able to knock someone out, and you'll be able to be knocked out. But you're not going to actually physically harm anyone in that sense. Do you guys take your little foodstuffs?
Yes, I take a sweet one.
I try and explain that just because it says moose doesn't mean it's actually a moose to Barry.
No one
Barry is still confused by this.
No one said moose.
Oh.
Well, apparently now there's a little there's a little sticker on it that says like moose petit four on each of the things, like each of the trays. But basically when you eat it, you feel like a magical effect, and also any harm that you guys do physically or magically is also going to be non-lethal because of this little food stuff that they've had you eat.
Was it tasty?
Palin is fascinated by these snacks.
Just about the tastiest thing you've ever eaten in your life. Is Palin like punching himself in the face and like, how does this work?
Yes.
He's like scratching himself with his fingernail. It doesn't. It's not.
It still hurts though. You can't be killed.
I don't know. I know. I'm just
don't kill yourself like Palin. Wait, no.
This is
anyway.
so cool.
Okay. So the dwarf lady gives you like a quick rundown. She says, "Here's how it's gonna run. This house is filled with iron items, chefs of iron, right? You're gonna find all of these iron items, and you're going to construct your own kitchen. So each of you have a quarter of sort of like a corner, even though it's circular, of this circle in area, and you guys can go to that area and start building up your kitchen based on what you find inside the house. The house will have 4 zones in it. You guys are able to go into any of those 4 zones and pick up anything that you want and take it back to your area. Once you guys have picked an area and put it down, no one will be allowed to steal from your area at this time, just because it's a little too chaotic that way, and the all-seeing eyes can't really keep up with that much chaos. They're mostly going to stay inside the building, so logistically. So once you guys bring it out and put it down, then it's yours. You've gotten it. But you got to get it out of the house first, and then it's sort of your claim. And you guys can start a pile wherever you want. You'll be given some time to actually put together your kitchen once you have all of the items that you need. But inside the house, it's a free-for-all. You can pick up whatever you want. You can try and take things from other people, but again, you won't be able to kill anyone, and we'd really, really, really like for people not to get injured enough that they're going to pass out, because that's just less exciting. So we encourage you that if you feel like you're getting really down there in hit points, to just, give up whatever you're holding. If you want to go down, sure, we'll bring a healer out, but your team's going to be down a person at that point for a little bit. So I would suggest that if like someone beats you to the inch of your life over a knife, maybe you just put that knife down. So like I said, there'll be 4 different zones. You're welcome to go through them all as much as you want. There's sort of a loose timer. We're going to try and keep it to 35 minutes in there at most. Once we think we also, this is a production, so if you think it's getting boring, we might shut down earlier. We'll give you a good I don't know, like 5-minute warning before we shut everything down, though, so that you can make sure you can get everything out of the house. Does anybody have any questions?
Okay.
So the owlbear actually swoops. The owlbear says, "We got the gelatinous cube, which doesn't really move on its own. It's on a cart. Is that all right? We gotta. We'll roll once it's inside. We'll leave it there, but like we gotta get it in with the cart. Is that okay? And the dwarf lady is like, yeah, I guess, sure, all right. Just yeah, bring the cart back outside. Um, and you hear some like tittering from the tall person, like in a much higher pitched voice than you'd expect from someone that tall. And the owlbear is just like, okay, let's go, and they start walking over to the door. And then the animated armor like sort of walks up to the dwarf lady and doesn't say anything because it's an animated armor, and looks over to the tree. And the tree says, "We're good with the jar, right? Quippers, they're their own thing. They're one. They're a swarm. It's cool, right?" And the dwarf lady's like, "Yeah, sure." And then everybody else walks over to the front door of this building. And the dwarf lady motions for you guys to walk over too. She says, "If you don't have any more questions, just head over the door. They'll be my co-host will be coming out soon, and we'll let you inside."
Okay.
So you guys walk over, the doors swing open, these eyes sort of are flanking, a couple of them, these magic eyes pull out from behind the door and are looking into and above you into the doorway. And the elf announcer goes, "It's time to begin. Everybody take your places, get ready, set, and go." And as you guys walk into the area, I'm going to give you a quick rundown because we are going to like keep this hopefully tight time wise.
Did you like upload the map to like Inger or something for us to look at?
No, because it's really simple. I'm only using it as just like a reference for myself. There's the first room that you're looking at is like a mess. It's exploded. Like it looks like a huge explosion happened here, and there's just metal shrapnel everywhere. It looks like this might have used to be a kitchen because there's a lot of destroyed kitchen utensils around, but they've all been like shredded up to mess. And then there are from this room 2 entryways into the back. So there's one big room, and then there's 2 entryways further on in. If you guys decide to stay here, you can look around or you can split up in whatever way, but there are 4 sections of this area. And you're welcome to move forward or stay in the exploded kitchen area. And if you decide to move forward, then you can start exploring the other 2 rooms. There's one to the right and one to the left.
Okay, so
We're gonna actually let's roll for initiative so that we can get an order roll down.
Oh shoot! I should probably. I'll just use my phone.
Nat 20.
Okay.
You're a butt. Where's
19 plus 3.
19 plus 3, so you're above that?
No, I mean he still goes first, but I was so close.
Yeah, since 22 is my total.
And then Kath's is 21?
mine?
No, it's 22. But he got
Mine
nat
is-
20.
Oh,
Mine
yeah,
is
22.
10.
What's everyone's? Well, I'll ask afterwards.
10, and then Ben rolled a 6.
Palin is like still punching himself in the face, I guess.
He's still like, how does this work?
Such interesting magics.
So let me roll for the other teams.
I need to figure out everyone's. I mean, I have 3 extra bags that I carry with me. Or sacks, and so I would like to distribute said sacks to the strongest of peoples.
So we tie all the
Menander
sacks to
Menander,
Barry.
did you roll?
Yeah, I got a 15 total.
15.
So Barry, your strength is probably the highest.
Yes, it is 16.
I have a 16 strength. Barry and I tie.
Okay, so I give both of you bags. What's your strength, Palin?
10.
Okay, so I have 12.
But Palin also has like mage hand and stuff.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you the bag anyway, so that you can carry shit around with you easier.
Cool. I have a bag.
That way we can carry more things back to our base.
So we should split Barry and I up. One of us, I guess it would just make more sense since you already work with Barry. You and Barry go off. You have a 16 strength with you, and Palin and I go off since we have a 16 strength with us.
Okay, that makes sense.
Good plan.
Okay, so first turn is Barry. Barry, you can stay in this room and look around for stuff here to pick up, or you can move forward further into the house.
I have no idea what any of this means. So I'm just going to start shoveling random stuff
Wait.
into my bag.
Okay, Keth's turn is next, so maybe you guys take your turn to come up with a plan.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, Keth, since you are the chef, it makes sense that maybe you would take your turn to just like.
I'll just spiel out some stuff that we need.
Okay, go for it.
So we need a stovetop, we need a big flat piece of metal, and we need a container that we can set it on top of to heat, to put like coals or something inside of to heat it up. We're gonna need, so that's the stovetop. We need an oven, so we need a box with something that we can use as a door. We need as many flat pieces of metal as we can get. And then we need pots, anything that can be a pot, pan, or a container of any sort. Oven, stovetop, and like that's pretty much all we really need. And then we just need to grab bits and bobs. So most important things: box, flat pieces of metal. That's it. Everything else is secondary.
All right. So, having been given that instruction by your
Chef boy.
Barry, you can decide to either stay and try and look through this rebel for what he's asked for, or move on into another room. What do you do?
Or you can,
Barry being rather short-sighted in this regard, we'll just look around this room for now.
Okay, so make me a perception check.
should it be perception or should it be investigation?
I guess investigation would work too.
You want me to make a perception check?
Okay.
But you also have the bronze to brains.
Well, the other thing is that this room is really like a pile of mess. So to me, it makes sense that you'd have to like what's here, what's even in this mess.
Yeah, but investigation is supposed to be like you're searching for something.
Okay, I mean, whichever one you want to choose.
Yeah. Zella, trust me. Go with perception on this one.
Okay.
But you have the thing that makes it so that you can do intelligence checks with your
But
strength.
only once per day.
Oh.
So don't just use that like randomly. You want to keep it.
Right.
All right. So what did you roll?
13.
13. Okay. Do you have something in mind that you're looking for?
Some kind of pot, I guess.
Some sort of pot. Okay, so what you find is you do find a pot, but it has a large hole in it. It's been like pushed through almost like a bullet ran through it, like a really big, maybe more like a small cannonball. So it has a hole in it. You also find next to that, you find some like wood that's been burnt up that could probably be used as charcoal if you wanted, or as kindling for a fire. And you find a bit of metal pipe that's jagged on one end.
All of it goes in the bag.
If Barry wants to do that, he can just put everything
into the
that he
bag
finds
it
there.
goes.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to need you guys to keep track of what you've picked up, please. So just
Okay. So
you don't have, Alex, you don't have to take care of everybody. Just take care of yourself because it's going to get really overwhelming if you have all of the information. So everybody, when you pick stuff up, just jot it down. So Barry, you've got pot with hole, wood, charcoal-y, like burnt wood, and you have what was the other thing? A jagged pipe. Okay. All right, Keth, it's your turn.
Okay, so
do you stay here or do you move forward?
I'm staying with Barry.
Okay, you're staying with Barry.
Where's my? Okay, so I'm gonna do an investigation check.
Okay. Either one is fine. It just depends. Barry was just standing there looking really hard. You're actually like putting your hands and moving through things. It's just a different method.
I got a 20.
Okay. What are you looking for?
I want some large flat slats of metal or a box.
Okay. Here, almost everything is damaged. So you don't think that it'd actually be particularly from this investigation. You find like a big slab of metal, but it's got lots of holes through it. You could pick it up, but it's like really damaged and bent. It's not flat. And then you find another one, but it's also down. Like nothing in this room looks like it's going to be like complete. Everything here is damaged. Do you think your character would probably think this is not the room for looking for something that like
Okay.
that?
So is there a hammer or anything? Nothing.
Nothing is complete. Like it's all rubble, and rubble can be helpful, but it
Okay,
cannot
so
be
we need to
helpful.
go to a different room.
Okay, so you can move to the next room as like your move action because you did your investigate.
Okay, so I will go stand in the other doorway and see what's
Okay,
up.
left or right?
Manly men go to the left.
Manly men go to the left. Okay, in this room is set up to look like a forging room. You see a big forge, but there's something weird about it. It doesn't look right. But you also see lots of like bits of armor. These things are also like in for repairs. So there's like, instead of being a full suit of armor, there's like the parts of the armor, different chain link bits, different plate bits all around. You see like shields. You see a bunch of different size anvils. You see some tools scattered around. So next turn you can start searching through here.
Okay.
All right. So the next team to move is actually all of the Shady Boys. So the gelatinous cube is sort of shoved off of the cart that it's on into a big pile of rubble by the owlbear. And it falls on this pile of rubble, and it slowly starts sucking things up into its body, as a gelatinous cube does. And then the owlbear and the weird trench coated thing go towards the forge room that Keth had explored slightly, had looked into. When the trench coat person starts moving, it's like they like take a couple steps forward, start like falling backward, keep sort of moving forward. There's something definitely weird about them. But the owlbear just sort of like charges into that forge room, and they start looking around in there. You see the owlbear pick up some cup-shaped bits of armor, and the trench coat person just seems to be trying best to keep their balance. So next in line, so the suit of armor, the jar, and the tree, they head in the other direction. So they head through the right-hand door. So you guys don't know what's in there, but they're headed into that room, and you hear clanging and stuff from that direction. Menander, it's your turn next.
So, this room looks like a war, like an explosion went off. Everything is broken. Yeah?
Yeah, everything is broken.
All right, I have the spell Mending, so it doesn't really matter what I look for because I can fix it myself.
Okay, sure.
I would like to search for something small with a flat bottom but shallow sides. I'm looking for like a wide bottomed pot.
Okay, so or like a saucepan,
Something like that.
Like a saucier. Okay, so get me whichever one you like, investigation or perception. I'm gonna give you guys sort of leeway on this.
I think that is an investigation because I know what I'm looking for and I'm down on my knees for it.
Okay, cool.
I rolled a 14. No, 15.
15. Yeah, so you find a pan. One of the sides is bent backwards, facing down, and the handle is completely off. You don't find the handle, but potentially you could find something else and attach it as the handle.
Perhaps a pipe of some sort?
Yeah, it's possible.
All right.
So you find that. While you're looking, you also find just like a really sharp bit of metal that you think might be useful. You find more burnt wood as well, and you find some sort of like small flat like squares, uneven squares of metal if you want to keep any of those. So when I give you a list, you don't have to keep all of them. Whatever you do take, just note down.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, so that's Menander's turn. Palin, where do you go?
We'll go in the room to the right, where no one's gone yet. If I'm keeping track of things right.
Yes. So, to the right, you find an armory. So in this room, all of the armor and weapons are in fine shape. There are piles and piles. Nothing's really sorted. It doesn't actually look like what a real armory would be, which in a real armory, everything would be on stands and everything would be laid out nicely. This kind of looks like a whirlwind went through. But there's definitely all sorts of pieces of armor here. So do you want to make an investigation or perception check to try and find something that you're looking for in particular here, or do you want to keep moving forward? If you move to like the last room, I'm just gonna have that end your turn because like you're doing like a double move action in my mind.
I'm gonna look around here because we do need like knives and stuff as well.
Okay, cool.
And an armory might have knives.
Yeah, like daggers and stuff.
I have 6 daggers on me.
But what if you need like a big axe?
Then I have Barry.
Does Barry have an axe? I don't remember.
A little
But he had,
known
like, a
fact:
maul.
Barry
Anyway.
is actually just an axe.
It's true.
I don't know what weapon Barry.
Playing the long con.
Or maybe Barry uses a maul. I don't remember. What do you use, Barry?
Flail.
Yeah. So
Oh shoot.
you
Okay.
could give him an axe, but you
But
need to find one
bears
first.
maul people. Why would you not use a maul?
Anyway.
Oh, that's questions.
Okay, so give me a perception or investigation check.
That's a 16.
16. Okay. So you find some swords. They're not greatly made. They don't look like the best swords. They do have an edge on them though. You do find some daggers. You find a very, very large axe. One of the bolts that's like holding the blade into the handle is a little loose, but otherwise it seems fine.
Oh. No tower shields.
Well, he wasn't looking for them.
Oh damn.
And you don't necessarily know what's in this room unless you come.
Also, tower shields are usually made of wood. That'd be a terrible stovetop.
I mean, for a short while it'd be fine. It would retain heat very nicely, and then it would burst into flames. So, okay. So we've gone through the order. At the bottom of the order, Ben, are you still with us?
Ben?
No, I think he's asleep. It's all right. No worries. Let me see. So.
I swear to God, if that trench coat is just like a pelican inside of it.
I swore that there were no birds or bird-like creatures in this particular session. Promise.
It's actually just 3 gnomes.
So the big guy and the polar bear sort of go rushing through the right-hand door, and they keep moving, and they go out of sight. So they're gone. Okay, it's back up to the top. So Barry, do you wish to stay in this room or move on? You could consult with Keth on this because you guys talk really.
I will follow Keth into his room.
It seems like a better room.
So which one did you go into? The
I went into I'm in the forge.
You're in the forge. Okay. Okay, and then when you're in there, do you have anything that you're looking for in particular?
Oh, sorry. What's in this room again?
So this is a forge. It's got an actual forge, but it looks weird and not quite right. It's also got lots of like armor pieces ready to be repaired. And then there's also like tools and anvils and such.
Well, a forge is essentially an oven, so I pick up the forge.
It's made out of cardboard.
It crumples in my hands.
Yeah, and actually
sad.
you see so the jar of quippers that the animated armor has been like opened, and there's a corner of this room that is just filled with a swarm of little tiny creatures searching through like small bits of metal. And then the animated armor and the tree are actually picking up a very large anvil and moving it out of this room towards the front door.
An anvil would be useful.
Okay. I
Barry-
grab the anvil from them.
From them, there are several other anvils. Unless you want to start combat, you're welcome to.
Kath, up to you.
If you do it, I can give you advantage.
Perfect.
All right.
You have to hold your action until after I go, though.
Okay.
Okay, so you hold your action, Keth.
I'm gonna go and peek into the other room using my move action, and then give Barry
Advantage on his. I guess it would be a strength contest.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have the strength contest just be against one of them, whichever one of them is stronger. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Okay,
Or they could also have advantage because they also have aid.
they have 2 people. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so the final room is looks like a mine. The walls are obviously not actually stone, the way that a mine would actually be, but it's like set up like a mine. And since you saw Barry pick up a forge and it was made of paper,
Cardboard. Yeah.
that it was made of paper, you realize that this place is like obviously just like a set. I mean,
It was
that's just-
obviously a set to begin with. Yes.
yeah, but it's not like magically portals into a real place. These are all just like set up. So you see just like general mining equipment around, what you'd expect to be in a mine, carts and raw materials and boxes and all sorts of stuff like that. To see more clearly, you'd have to actually go in there and investigate.
Okay.
Otherwise, you give Barry advantage, right, by doing a thing.
Yes.
Okay, you do a thing and give him advantage, and then Barry, I need you can take a strength check with advantage, and I'm going to roll theirs.
Well, I rolled a 6 and a 2, so this is not going to go well.
Oh.
What's your bonus?
3. So 9.
Okay, well let's see if they roll worse. Okay, well they rolled a 20 on the first roll. So you do not get that anvil out of their hands. And actually the tree takes hold of the anvil fully and and can hold it perfectly fine on their own. And now the animated armor is unhappy with you and facing you. So on their turn, it might be a thing. All right, so okay, so who's in what room? I wasn't keeping track. Let me see. Who is in the forge? You guys are still in the forge. That's what's happening in the forge room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is anybody in the armory? Yes.
Palin's in the armory.
So you see the owlbear in the armory, and he actually picks up like a bunch of helmets, and he starts handing them off to his weird trench-coated friend, and arms start coming out from the center of the trench coat to hold. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 8 pairs of arms, small arms coming out of this trench coat, holding all of these helmets.
8 pairs of arms?
Well, no, 8 total arms. 4 pairs of arms. 8 arms. Tiny little arms with little fingers holding all of these helmets coming out of this trench coat.
This is 4 babies in a trench coat. I'm gonna come to New York and punch you.
Non-lethally.
I mean, you're not far off.
Oh no.
And then so also in the room where the rubble is, is anybody still in the exploded kitchen? No, right?
No.
Yes,
Okay.
I am.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry.
Menander's still in there. So Menander, you see that in the gelatinous cube, the gelatinous cube has spit out a bunch of like stuff that looks useless, but it has a big sheet of metal that all of the edges are like turned downwards, sort of like at various angles. Looks like it could make a good flat space. And then also it has just like some sharp edge pieces of metals that probably use as like very crude knives are floating around in it, and some pieces of metal that are dented so that they could probably be used as cups. And that's what's floating around inside of the gelatinous cube.
Gross.
Yeah. If you wanted to do that, you could do that. All right. So now it's the tree and the armor team's turn. The tree books it for the door with this very large anvil. So it moves kind of slowly, but it makes its way into the main room now. And then the armor is going to attack Barry.
We're gonna have scrap.
Going to have a scrap.
I'll reduce him to scrap.
A literal scrap. In the room filled with scrap. Or, well, this one's not that bad. Okay, let's see. What is he going to do to you?
Now,
He is going to do you an attack. So he picks up a relatively large sword from next to him, and he swings it at you. And let's see what he gets. I think it does. I think the answer is going to be yes. Does an 18 hit your AC?
It does.
Okay, so this big sword does 1d6. So you take six points of non-lethal damage.
Resistance, so I take 3 points of non-lethal damage.
And he swings a second time. Oh, that's not the one I wanted to roll. I assume a 11 does not hit your AC.
No.
Okay, and then he misses that time. And the armor creaks. Doesn't say anything, but he creaks, and the like flap, the flap that would go over a face if there was anyone inside of this armor, sort of flaps around, and that swarm of quippers seems to stop swarming so much and starts heading towards you. So that's something you'll have to deal with next turn.
Cool.
Have fun with that. Menander.
I will.
Menander, you are in the room with the gelatinous cube that is sucking up a bunch of useful metal.
And the tree folk just barged through holding an anvil?
Yeah, the tree folk is walking through with a very large anvil and booking it to the door as fast as one can, being a tree and holding an anvil.
I'm going to do my best to ignore that.
That
man
seems
holding an anvil.
prescient. That's a good idea.
I'm not looking for anything in particular.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna roll and see what I find.
Alright, sure.
I got an 11.
I would say you find like nothing super great. You do find a much larger, much fatter pole than what Barry found previously, and like it's not bent. It's actually like ballooned out so that it's pretty wide. And you think it actually might make a good rolling pin or something like that. That's the best thing that you find.
Okay.
Okay.
Do I still have a movement?
Sure, if you want to move out of this room, you are more than welcome to.
Yes, I would like to reconvene with Palin.
So Palin is in the armory. So you go to the right to the armory, following Palin. Okay, so you're in the armory now. You know what's in there because I've talked about it. Armor and stuff. Okay, Palin, you now have a Menander. In the room with you, you also have... What do you have with you? I forget. Oh yeah, you have what appears to be a 8-handed creature holding a bunch of helmets, and then you have an owlbear, and you have a Menander in there with you, Palin.
So when Menander comes in, I'm just staring at this trench-coated thing.
Yep.
Holding a short sword in my hand that I found on the ground.
What do you do?
That's okay. That's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Balin, it is rude to stare.
Right. Yeah. So I guess I'm gonna look for like stuff like helmets, or like if there's a breastplate of some sort that we could flatten out into stovetops or something like that.
Okay.
Seems like a plan.
Make a roll. You guys are being just really nice. Barry's the only one that's attacking anyone.
I rolled a 1.
You rolled a 1.
I rolled a
Having
1.
played 2nd edition, 3rd edition, and 3.5, I have
Yeah.
no intention of tangling with a gelatinous cube or
Yeah.
a tree.
Yeah,
I mean, the gelatinous cubes don't move, so if you're willing
they
to
do move slowly. But also, like, what's he gonna do? He's gonna pick up a bunch of stuff that's gonna dissolve inside him. I'm like not really worried about the gelatinous cube.
Yeah, but the gelatinous, this is all iron. It'll
When
take
you say
while
a bunch
for
of
what-
stuff that dissolves inside of him, what you mean is us leaving all the stuff that we've picked up.
Yeah,
Does it-
gelatinous cubes are like
They're
in
made of acid,
ore.
which means they can't dissolve metal.
Yeah, they don't.
Oh, I thought it dissolved metal, just not bones.
I don't think it dissolves metal, or at least if it does, it takes a really long time. Actually, probably all of that iron stuff that's inside it, by the time it comes out, gonna be real shiny. Because any like rust that's gotten on it and any carbon is gonna be completely acided off. Anyway, so with a 1, you are way too distracted by this 8-handed creature, and actually, instead of looking at anything, you're just like slowly walking towards it, and the owlbear kind of notices you looking at it and gives you a stink eye and says, "Mind your own business." So, let's see. Where
This is not the last one. I'm gonna roll.
I mean, I imagine not. So, Keth, you had gone to look into the mine, but you went turned back around and look at Barry.
Mhm.
You're still near the door. You hear
Yeah,
moving around in the mine.
it's my turn.
No, I'm just saying like that's what you hear.
Okay.
Someone moving around in the mine. There's obviously a team in there, and biological deduction as a player.
It's the Terrors of the North. Yes.
Yeah, so they're in there doing stuff. But you don't see anything. You see hide nor hair of them quite yet. Anyway, it's Barry's turn. So Barry, I think you are in the forge room now. You have crushed a non-crucible. You have attempted to steal an anvil. The anvil is now in the next room, headed towards the door. But there is an angry animated suit of armor and a swarm of quippers that is also not pleased with you. So what do you do?
Well, I'm going to have a scrap.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to reckless attack here.
Which one are you doing? I assume you're doing the armor, not the...
Yeah, the suit of armor.
Okay. So do your roll for attack.
That was a 3. That was a 12. So that
Heather.
makes 19.
Oh, okay. The 19 just barely hits its armor class, yeah.
Okay, D8. I choose you. 10 damage.
Okay. That really staggers this suit of armor. It's not pleased. But it's still together. Keth.
Keth is searching for specific tools.
You're not gonna help Barry.
Barry's got this.
Okay. Alright. Sure.
I'm looking for a large hammer.
A large hammer. Do me a roll.
Actually, I'm looking for something. Large hammer, small hammer, tongs, and anything that can be used as cooking utensils.
So you're looking for like tools. You're looking through the pile of tools. Okay.
Yeah.
Instead of like the area where tools are. Okay.
I got a natural 20. Total 25.
Okay. So you find the small like ball peen hammer. You find a very large forging hammer, like one of the ones that's like really flat to like hammer things out flat. You find like screwdrivers and wrenches. You find like all of the tools you'd expect. to
All
find.
of this goes inside the bag except for the large hammer.
The large flat hammer.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't want the large flat hammer, but
No,
you have.
I want to say, hey Barry, he's a suit of armor. Use this, and I throw the hammer to him.
Okay. All right.
I mean, a flail will also do a good job against a suit of armor.
I don't think he needs a second. He can only attack with one weapon at a time. If
That's
anything,
true.
you could keep it and attack if you wanted to next.
That
turn.
is a better idea. I don't think my rapier is going to be very good against this guy.
Maybe not. Piercing armor, piercing damage. I don't think does well on a suit of armor. There is also an angry swarm of quippers.
Well, I have no fucking clue what I'm going to do about that.
I can read you the description of what a swarm of quippers looks like, just so
Yes,
that you
I
guys can
guess
have a sense.
I could have a torch.
Is there a description?
Are their walls also made out of cardboard?
No, they're walls, but they're probably not fully real. Does it not give a description of what they're like? Damn, it doesn't. It just
A
says
quipper,
medium
you mean?
quippers. A swarm
Yeah.
of quippers.
They're like tiny piranhas.
Oh, okay.
They're actual fish.
Oh, well, they're flying fish.
Okay, so
I wasn't worried about them because someone brought in like a pot full of fish. I'm like, okay.
Oops. They're in a floating ball of water.
my plan was to use a torch to just scare him away, but that is now destroyed.
You could remove them from the water, I guess.
How?
I don't know. They're in a floating ball of water.
That seems pretty magic to me.
True.
Set up a siphon to remove the water.
Start drinking it slowly.
This seems like an awful idea. I'd rather just keep collecting stuff.
Okay, cool. All right, so
Somebody has to.
So you have a big hammer, you have some small hammers, you have some wrenches and screwdrivers, and just like you have basically a standard tool set. But in addition to that, you've got a very large forging hammer and like some tongs. So you found quite a few things. Okie dokie. Okay, so the armor hits back. Let me do this again. Do 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 do. So again, he does you an attack, and he rolls.
With advantage.
He has advantage. Oh,
Yeah.
I assume a 23 hits your AC.
It would.
Ouch.
Dang. It's hard.
Well, it's armor. It's literally only made for doing a hit.
I thought it'd be
So
made to take a hit.
that too. So 7, but I assume you cut that in half.
I was
Damage?
wrong about how resistance works. I need to
Oh.
be raging, which I'm not.
Oh, okay. So now
But
he
I've taken 13 points of damage so far.
Okay, and he goes again. And he gets advantage again on the second attack as well, or?
I believe so.
Oosh.
7, 8, 9, 10. But 11 doesn't hit your AC.
It does not.
Okay, so he misses on that one, but the Quipper's ball of rage water floats towards you.
So a fun thing about quippers is
Mm-hmm.
that they get advantage on attacks against someone who doesn't have full health.
Oh, they do that.
Well, they were going to have advantage anyways, so
Best to roll 3d20 just in case.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't work that way.
So they got one natural 20. So they're gonna hit you.
Oh
Oh no.
This is not going well.
No.
Hey, I'm distracting 2 of their team. I consider this a win.
It's true. They haven't gotten much stuff. Oh geez, this is a lot of damage that I'm rolling.
It's always fish. We just need to stay away from the water.
That's 19.
This time the water came to us.
Oh god, we'll never escape.
So that's 19 points of piercing, non-lethal piercing damage that you take there.
Can someone do fire damage? Maybe boil these fish out of the water?
You know, I can do that if I.
Yeah,
if,
but we don't
if
know what's
Palin
going
was
on.
aware it was happening.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, this is happening.
You could, I mean, you could also try and back down. Like, this isn't, you guys aren't in a combat competition. So, like, if you want to try and talk your way out of fighting further.
Or maybe he can just hear the screams of Barry being eaten by a bunch of flying piranhas.
Does Barry scream when he gets eaten by a bunch of flying piranhas?
Barry screams when he poops.
Oh no, but that's not the same. That's not quite the same kind of scream. That's more of a like triumphant roar, rather than a "Oh my god, I'm getting eaten by a bunch of quippers."
He is making noise.
Okay,
Interpret that how you will.
everybody probably hears yelling, and you may be able to recognize that it's Barry because he's got Barry's voice. So there you go. So that's their turn. In Menander, it's your turn. You just heard some screaming.
I am well used to Barry screaming at all hours by now, and I
Yeah.
will ignore him.
So what do you do?
I'm looking for something big and enclosed, mostly enclosed, as I would like to find something ovenish.
Yay!
But you're still in the first room?
He's in the
No,
armory.
I'm with Palin in the armory.
Okay, in the armory. So you don't actually see anything like that. I'm not gonna make you roll in this room. There aren't really any like anything big and square. I mean, there's like the chest part, like there's some pieces, there's some armor that has the breastplate and the back and the sides still all riveted together. You could potentially use that, but
That'd be an awful oven.
it's not
No,
gonna
it'd
be
be
a great
better as
oven.
a walk.
So if you want, you can move into a different room and make a search there, because by a very cursory glance, without even having to do anything, I'd say that you'd know that this room is not ideal for that, unless you want to look for something else here.
No. I'll move into the final room because I don't know what's in there.
Yeah, so in the mine. Okay, so you go into the mine. This is where you want to be if you're looking for an oven. So there are mining carts. There's a bunch of raw metals and rocks, and there are large metal and wooden boxes in here.
I do like a good metal box.
There's pickaxes and lanterns. So why don't you make me a perception check, and I'll tell you what kinds of boxes you find.
Perception in here. I believe that's a 6.
6?
Or can you use intelligence?
Yeah, you can use investigation as well if you'd like.
Or just.
Spoiler warning, they're both the same.
Oh, okay.
I was just
So you
wondering if
only-
it was locked for this room for some reason.
So you've rolled a 6.
Sure did.
There are some boxes.
Oh man, I love boxes.
So I guess you see a box. It's metal. I would say it's pretty big. It's gonna be heavy to carry, but there's a box and it's still got a lid on it. It's filled with some rocks, so you'd probably have to remove the rocks from it, but you could take it.
Yeah, I'll empty those rocks out. I'll take this substandard heavy metal lidded box.
Okay, cool. All right, so your next turn you can start like moving that out, or you can start putting stuff in it and take it with you.
Jesus. Barry, I am not sure what I can do to help you.
And you are okay. So also in this room are a polar bear and a man. And the polar bear and a man have actually taken a mine cart off of the rails, and they are filling this mine cart with pickaxes. They have some lanterns that they're using. They're like taking the lanterns apart, and they seem to be like taking the containers that contain oil and then also like the shield parts and some of the glass bits and putting them in there.
Steal the
They
mine cart.
they have some rocks in there, and they have some mining helmets that they've found in the cart, and they're in the process of pushing that cart. The polar bear climbs into the box and is sitting on top of all the stuff and is using his arms to push himself forward while the guy is also pushing from the back. So there's a mine cart filled with polar bear and metal headed out of this room, and it's headed actually in the direction of the. It's going to go through the not the forge, the armory, and
So
towards.
we'd be passing each other on my way in.
Yeah, you would have. And on their turn, they're packing this full, and now the end of their turn is that they are starting out. So they would have been in the room with you during your turn. So if you want to change what you did based on the fact that you saw them doing that, that's fine because I didn't mention.
No, I don't want to change anything. It's just on their way by. It's head
Yeah,
nod, gentlemen.
they're passing you off, and they're going to be going past Palin and all of them on their way out. So, okay, it is Barry's turn.
Barry,
Yes.
I think you should leave and go into the mine room. I have a plan.
Fine.
I
Barry
also
rolls
have a plan.
and disengages, heading
Sure.
into the mine room.
So truthfully, like I don't even think you would have had to use it. These people are only fighting you because you started it. So as soon as you
Didn't
look
start anything.
as soon as you sort of like try to take a step back, the armor turns around and like grabs the jar, and the quippers go inside of the jar, and so yeah, on their turn they're sort of disengaging with you as well. Keth, it's your. They seem receptive to the disengagement.
They are still inside that room, though.
They're still inside that room, but they're not
Okay.
poised to attack anymore.
I have two things that I'm going to do.
Oh god.
I'm going to move into the other room.
Into the mine?
Yeah, to the doorway of the mine. The second is I'm just going to empty all the contents of pouch number 2.
What's in pouch number 2?
It's 2 vials of oil,
Mhm.
which will shatter.
Mhm.
And 1,000 ball bearings to make it extra slippery.
Okay.
Oh, so greased ball bearings. So I just turn around and throw that all over the floor around the armor guy, and well, it doesn't really affect the floating goddamn fish because
Well,
They
they're
float.
all in a jar now.
Well, they were going to be in their next turn, but perhaps now they won't do that.
You've
They
made
also-
a ball-bearing conveyor for the jar of fish.
they also don't have arms, so they're just terrifying to fight. I don't really see how they're going to pick up a whole bunch of shit, so I'm more worried about this armor. So
They were just like catching little bits of metal in their weird teeth.
That's fine. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
But now, I'd like to see that guy try and move. It's now difficult terrain.
Okay. So back in the armory,
The armory's now. I guess I filled how big is the armory?
No, that was the forge you were in.
How big is the forge?
The forge room. I mean, all of these rooms are of about the same size. They're fairly large.
I couldn't have blocked it all off.
I would say from like here. What would you say from here to like the third pole?
20 feet, 25 feet.
That little from here to the third pole?
Oh, from me to the pole.
Well, from the wall
So
to the
30
third pole.
feet.
30, yeah, between 30, 30 feet, 35 feet. 30, 35 feet long, and then, maybe like
So I
15,
can only
20 feet wide.
I only can cover a third of the room.
So I think probably what you do is you block them from being able to get into the mine, so they're not going to go in that direction.
Well, they also, I literally scattered it at their feet. So when
Oh,
they
okay.
move, they're going to do a slip.
Well, I mean, they could back up. Like, you can only do it in a line. You're not catching, like, the whole width of a 20-foot room. How long do you really think? Like, the ball bearings, maybe, but, like, the oil, no.
I can cover a surface 10 square feet.
Yeah, so
10
they can
feet
definitely
square,
walk
so
around.
10 by 10. So I just do that around them.
Okay, I think they could probably.
They must
Alright.
succeed a dexterity saving throw or fall prone.
Okay, cool.
and they move at half speed.
I mean, yeah. All right. Okay. So back in the armory, the owlbear is sort of side eyeing Palin because Palin is staring at this 8-armed situation that's going on. The 8-armed situation has taken all the hoods and sort of stuffed it into the coat and started picking up a breastplate that the owlbear is handing off. They've got like a bunch of armor stuff. There's also a small shield that's got a bunch of like slashes in it that they're holding on to. There's a couple of the tips of spears and some metal sort of like handles that are not attached to things. So they're gathering stuff, and like the owlbear is like handing it off to all of these 8 hands, or putting it into various pockets, tucking it into like the scarf and stuff, and holding on to some other things. So they're pretty loaded up with some stuff.
Hmm.
But they're just like looking at you, Palin, sort of like, what's your problem? And that's what they do. So now we have to see if this armor can get out of here. Or can move around.
I don't know what. Does the grease give him disadvantage?
I don't know. He's just trying to move away from where the grease is. So what did you say? If make a dexterity check?
You have to make a dexterity saving throw of or fall prone. I want to know what the effect of the grease did.
Yeah, so that's what the dexterity. Oh, so that's not the grease. That's the caltrops?
That's the ball bearings.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the ball bearings. I don't know what the grease would do.
Make him extra slippery.
Make it
Yeah, I was gonna say
slippery.
grease has the exact same effect. If you could check the
Yeah,
grease
so I-
spell,
Yeah,
so
so
it'd
I
probably
don't-
just be if you do both of them, disadvantage on the save.
Okay.
That's what I would
Sure.
roll.
Okay, so they got a 1.
They're
So
on
the-
their ass.
So the armor falls prone.
Does he scatter into a million armor pieces?
No, I mean he's still got more than enough health to hold together.
Can I take his head to use it as a bowl?
No,
Damn.
it's attached. He's not letting you take it. You'd have
You
to
know what would
also
make a
walk
great
through the ball
bowl?
bearings and the
The
grease.
bowl that's
You wanna
holding all the
try?
fish.
That's a jar. It's like a
Is it-
glass jar.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah, except there's holes in the. But I guess if the water's floating, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, so the armor is on the ground. If you want to walk over and try and take its head, you can try.
That was
You'll
a
have to
joke.
walk over there. Okay.
I saw what it did to Barry. He would have killed me. He would have
So
knocked
the-
me straight on my ass.
So because the armor couldn't put the quippers back in the jar, the ball of water that the quippers is in
Oops.
sort of floats over to where the oil is and starts kind of like running the water across it and like picking up the ball bearings in its little mouths and dropping the ball bearings into its jar along with like little bits and pieces of metal that they find. So it's like scavenging and just
Well,
sort of like
They just activated my trap card.
They're taking your ball bearings as pie weights. We're screwed.
they're gonna make such a good pie. But they also go over and kind of like try and get the oil off of the bottom of the armor's feetsies
With water?
with water. Like,
That's not gonna work.
I mean, they're trying. The armor is also kind of like crawling away as fast as it can from where the oil is, so that it can get up. Oh, please tell Haramis he's welcome to enter the.
He is.
Oh, okay. Hey, Haramis,
Hey,
welcome.
hello.
Okay,
Howdy.
so because of this, I'm gonna take like a little pause in the action for a quick second, to update Haramis as to what's going on, if that's all right.
Okay,
If
I'm gonna
everybody
go.
else would like to go get a drink or something, I'm gonna let Haramis know
Yeah.
what's going on.
I'm gonna get my lunch.
You have lunch.
I have lunch. It's more leftovers I need to eat.
Okay. Okay, Haramis. So here's what's happened so far. Basically, you're gonna get back into play with us as soon as you're ready. So are you ready to start playing at this moment, or do you need more time?
Keep talking and we'll see. I think I am.
Okay, cool. So basically, what happened so far is at the beginning of the session, a very, very panicked gnome came and grabbed you all and told you that you were being sent away to a competition. He told he sort of implied that it was a cooking competition of some kind, and ran you off to a magical portal door, which you walked through and entered kind of a green room or like a sitting room or a staging room. And your character specifically was given a sort of like a servant's set of clothing.
Okay.
Because everyone was told that the maximum amount of contestants for their team was 4 people. So you were on the sidelines for everything that was happened further to this, but you guys were brought out and you were informed that this was a cooking competition called Chefs of Iron. Stage 1 of this cooking competition that you guys are participating today is you have to construct your own kitchen out of bits of iron that are found in this large house that they set up in the middle of the stadium. The stadium surrounded by a bunch of people watching. There's also sort of like all-seeing magic eyes that seem to be like recording the proceedings in some way. So you watched as your friends introduced themselves as Gorgon Ramses, the Bear King, Poseidon, Lord of Seafood, and I'm a Dragon. And the opposing teams are Team Terror from the North, which includes a large, sort of beefy human, and a polar bear. The second team, which is the Odd Trio, was an animated suit of armor, a jar filled with quippers floating in a ball of water, and an awakened tree. And then the final team, the Shady Guys, was a large trench-coated figure that by watching the proceedings, you now know to have 8 arms somehow, an owl bear, and a gelatinous cube. And all of these teams have gone into this house that has 4 different rooms. And because you've been on the outside, you actually know what's in all of the 4 rooms. The first room looks like a kitchen that's been exploded. It has mostly shrapnel and bits of burnt wood and bent metal in it. Then there is a room that is like ostensibly set up as a forge, which has like broken weapons and lots of tools. There's an armory that has like shoddily made but fully formed tools and full sets of armor. And in the very back there is a mine, like a setup like a mine that has like carts and boxes and mining tools in it. Barry got into a fight, but otherwise people are mostly just gathering up materials for their kitchens. And that's sort of the situation you find yourself in right now, as you are on the outside of this, sort of watching on these projected magical screens what's going on inside the house.
Okay.
So if you're ready to get started, I'm gonna give your character an in. That is. So are you ready? Do you have
I
your
think so. D&D Beyond is open.
Okay, cool. Okay. So is everybody back? Everybody else who's here? Alex,
It looks
you're
like
here.
Gunnar and Hub are still away.
Okay, cool. Once they get
I'm
back,
just
then I'll...
muted because I'm putting a sandwich into my face.
I
Right
have
here.
4 more minutes for my sandwich, for my Philly cheesesteak fries to reheat.
Gunnar, are you back? No. Okay, cool. All right, so we'll get there when we get there. I also gave kind of like a quick summary of where you guys are at. Haramis, I don't know how much you remember from 3 months ago, but you guys are working with a group that is trying to...
Yeah, I do remember most of it.
Good.
Oh, so did he roll his initiative and stuff?
Oh, yes. Can you roll initiative for your character, actually?
I sure can. If I find the... Ah, there.
If you find the number.
8.
Okay, you're down here. Zan. Also, you have all of your weapons and equipment, but you have had Mercy cast on you.
Oh no!
And,
Wait! Sorry, I
No, he
messed
hasn't.
one thing up. I automatically went to D&D Beyond, but that's the other campaign. One second.
oops.
He wasn't with us when we got all that stuff.
Oh, that's true. Okay, you will have mercy cast upon you in a second then.
Or we can just say that happened before we went out.
Okay, because there's going to be a whole thing that happens.
Then. Oh, now I need to get. I do need to get dice because I thought with D&D Beyond I don't need any, but now I do.
What? Oh.
It is very comfortable not just to have your character sheet and just click on a skill and it rolls for you. That's
That
very
is
nice.
really awesome.
D20, I need a D8. Still. Is this D8? Looks like it. Okay, I think I got everything.
Okay, so do you need to re-roll initiative, or was the 8 fine? Do you have like a different modifier?
I do have a different modifier, yes. So I do need to reroll. An 18.
Oh, much better.
Indeed.
Actually, that puts you literally in order right now, I think, which is great for me because I'm going to have you do stuff now, and it works out. The other thing I wanted to just quickly remind you is that you got 2 magical items last time. I think you ended up with the all or nothing coin. Is that right?
I do. It says on my character sheet a breastplate of the Amazons.
That one you bought, yes. And I think you from the magical claw game you got something. Do you have another item?
Looking through my stuff.
When I watched our thing, you were like holding a coin up, and
yes, all or nothing coin.
Okay, yeah. So just as a reminder, you can flip a coin per short rest. You can flip a coin instead of rolling a d20, and heads is 20, tails is 1.
Yeah.
That's how that one works.
And the breastplate.
Yeah, the breastplate. Let me double check. That's not here. You ignore disadvantage to ranged attacks due to bodily impairment, such as blind, deafness, poisoned, etc.
Ah, yes. Okay.
All right, I'm just waiting for Gunnar to come back.
So if you have do think so, I am on the sidelines. I'm not part of the team right now.
You are not. You are masquerading as like their errand boy / servant, but we're going to change that in a second. There's going to be a development.
Okay.
So once everybody's back and sitting down, but since we've got some people missing, if anybody does want to like go and grab food or grab some water or a drink, take your time. This is just sort of our little break, so go for it.
Okay, I'm gonna go quickly to the kitchen and see if I want to grab something.
Perfect.
Okay, be right back.
I think I may too. I'll be back.
Okay. I think I've got everything I need now.
Are you actually going to play, or do you just need to sleep? Why don't you go to bed then? Ben refuses to go to bed. Okay. I'm back. Is Gunner back?
I'm here.
Is everyone back?
I'm here.
I am here.
I'm here.
Is Blaine here? She's the only one that's not back. She's
Well, then
she's
I will
talk-
be 1 second.
she's actually here. She's just has her mouth full.
Oh my.
You jokester.
Okay. So here's what goes down.
Okay.
All right. Everybody that is in the armory, which is to say, I think Menander and Palin, right?
No, I'm in the mines right now.
Oh, okay.
So it's
Palin.
just paling.
Palin. So you've been seeing the owlbear sort of filling this trench-coated figure with various armor. And a rip starts to appear in the trench coat. And the trench coat tears, and you see a stack of 4 goblins holding a bunch of metal objects. And so the goblins, realizing that they have been found out, in a sense, grab all the things that they were holding and beeline for the door. And a large sort of like alarm bell kind of rings, and over the loudspeaker you hear a voice say, "Oh no, it seems like one of our contestants has sidestepped the rule."
Sidestep my ass.
How distressing. How do we usually deal with rule breaking in this competition? And then the dwarf lady, who is the second announcer, says, "Well, we usually just run with it. I mean, that's what we did last year, and you guys all really liked it. So this time, we're just gonna raise the cap. Anybody have any extra contestants you want to bring onto your team? Feel free."
Well,
And
what an absolute coincidence.
and Haramis, you hear this, and I assume you decide to volunteer.
I volunteer as a tribute. No, wait.
So the two announcers come over to you. So there's sort of like a tall, lithe, black-haired elf man and a shorter female dwarf. They come over and say and pat you on the back, and they say, "See, fair's fair. Only one team seems to happen to have had an alternate on hand, but we gave everyone the option, so we're all good. And what's your name? I know you are on Team Swords to Plowshares with Gorgon Ramses, the Bear King, Poseidon, Lord of Seafood, and I'm a Dragon. So, and what's your name, my friend?"
Oh, Zanzibar the Great, maybe?
Zanzibar the Great, maybe.
Zanzibar, the Great Maybe.
Okay. Well,
Yes,
welcome.
I was here because maybe I was needed, so...
Oh, it makes sense. We totally get it. Zanzibar the Great, maybe in this competition, and now is here. Eat this, and they shove like a little pastry. Well, it's like a little cracker covered with some sort of mousse on it that has like some seasoning on it, and they say, "Eat this," and then two big guys with wands walk over to you and start enchanting all of your armor and weapons with mercy, so that you can't actually kill anyone. Do you eat the thing that they gave to you? Everybody else did. It's fine.
Okay, if
You watched everyone else eat it, so
yeah,
you know that it's fine.
I
So
guess so. Yes,
you
I
eat
do.
it, and
Oh.
it makes it so that any physical damage that you do or any magic damage also can't hurt anyone as well, which is
You
what
could have tried a sleight of hand to just pretend you eat it.
I don't know if Zan actually would want to make it so that he would accidentally kill someone. Maybe.
No. Then really is not a fan fun. He's actually a much fan of this. He was when he saw the others eat it, what it was. He was very impressed and very. He likes this a lot. Not actually hurting someone and still getting to do something is.
His best, his favorite outcome.
Yes.
Okay,
Sen gets
so
to do his two favorite things: eat pastries and not murder.
yeah, not murder. Okay, so the two hosts point you over towards the door, which is open. It's a big double door, and like I said, the first room that you would be able to make it to in your turn. This turn would be the exploded kitchen that just has bits of shrapnel. The way the mechanics have been working so far is when you're in a room, um, You can do a perception or an investigation check to try and find something in particular that you're looking for. You could also try and look for something useful, but if you're not pointing me in a direction, and you roll really low, you're probably just not going to find like anything useful. But if at least you're looking for something, I can give you something that's like that, but maybe worse. And then also there are other people obviously moving through the room, so you'll be able to interact with them if you want to. Barry got into a fight, which didn't go super hot for him.
I
So-
disagree.
or
I've
well,
gone fine.
Keth decided it wasn't going super hot for him and intervened. Um, so at this point, you're just gonna make your way over, and I'm gonna figure your turn ends as you sort of get to the house.
Okay.
Cool. And over sort of the loudspeaker, you guys hear one of the announcers go over and interview an audience member. Is like, how do you feel about this turn of events? And the audience member is like, well, I'd say it's slightly unfair to the polar bear and the dude, but the one team has a whole jar of quippers, so I feel like it's pretty even on that hand. And also is a polar bear, so that's like 2 people maybe 3. And commentary continues as you're going. So Zanzibar's Zan rolled an 18. So it's actually Menander's turn next. And Zan, while you're at the door, you actually see the giant awakened tree from one of the teams. Has sort of like picked up a bunch of stuff from this exploded room, and is like has dropped it off in a corner with a pile of their stuff and is walking back into the facility as well, like kind of just ahead of you. So Menander, you are in the mine. You have a box that you have tried to empty out of a bunch of material. Actually, do we want to run through? Let's pause for a second. Alex had like a good suggestion. Does everybody want to run through what they have found? I've been asking you to take notes, but if you don't remember, maybe we can try and remember together.
Well, since it's my turn, we'll just start with the stuff that I have.
Mm-hmm.
I have a bent pan. I have that in air quotes because it was from the shrapnel room. It is
Mhm.
low sides but no handle.
Mhm.
I have a nondescript sharp length of metal.
Mhm.
I have some charcoal. I have several small, uneven metal squares,
Mm-hmm.
and the lidded box that I'm currently attempting to empty out, which is
Okay.
made of metal.
And I think someone also, was it you that also got like sort of a semi-rolling pin?
Did I get a semi-rolling pin? I have
A
not written
big
this down.
pipe.
Yeah, it was like a big pipe that was like kind of exploded outward to make a good rolling pin. I think that was you.
All
Unless
right,
someone
I
else
will
has that.
write big with 2 G's and an E, pipe. Okay.
Okay, then let's go through everyone else just quickly so that everyone can prioritize based on what other people have. Kath, what do you have? Oh, you have food in your mouth. That's the answer.
I have tongs, a big flat hammer, a small hammer, and a standard tool set that includes screwdrivers, wrenches, and etc.
And then Barry, did you pick up?
I
Yes, you did.
have a pot with a hole in it,
Mhm.
some like scrap wood and charcoal, and a jagged pipe.
A jagged pipe, yes. And then Palin.
Palin just has some short swords, and I think he also like picked up a helmet from the ground in the armory.
Yeah, I think you also got an axe. Was it? If I
Oh yeah,
remember.
I found an axe as well.
I don't know if you took it, but you did find a large axe. So
Never know when you'll need an axe.
okay, cool. All
A
right.
firewood? If we find a tree?
So Menander, now that you know what you have this box. I think you've emptied it out of like it had like a bunch of rocks and like raw metal bits in it.
Yeah. I'm going to. Does the hinge work? Can I open it?
Yeah.
Awesome. So if it opens and closes, I'm going to empty all of my stuff into it,
Cool.
and I'm going to make a circuit. I'm going to go not through the door I just came, but through the other door with my box full of stuff.
Okay, so you're leaving this area. All right. So
Wait! He'll find out really shortly.
well, you're standing in the doorway in the direction he's coming, so you can stop him.
Yeah, I'm like, you don't want to come this way.
Yeah, because
Try
Keth
to like peek up and over his shoulder because
So you see a floor covered in ball bearings and glistening with a set of armor like splayed out on the floor and a floating ball of water with a bunch of quippers in it. And you also see a tree person like looking in the doorway, or an awakened tree that is, like a large tree, mobile
okay.
tree looking in the door. So it seems like Keth has warned you that's not a great idea. You could either go back the other way, or if you want to spend some more time looking around in the mine, you're also welcome to do that.
The spell Prestidigitation is used to clean things. I'm going to barge through Kath with my box, and I'm going to just Prestidigitation myself a footpath
Cool.
through the oil.
Okay.
Okay.
So as you do that, the armor just like reaches out a hand. And it's like, he can't say anything because he's just an animated suit of armor, but he pathetically is like, help, without saying anything. You can choose to ignore, or
I'm a little busy. I'm holding a box, attempting to cast a spell. I don't think I even
Okay.
noticed him.
okay, that's fine. You will run it this, so the door on the other end, headed towards the front, is being blocked by a giant tree. And this room is like about 35 feet. So I think you get up to the door and are sort of face to face with the giant tree at the end of your turn.
Well then, is he coming toward me or leaving?
Oh, he's coming towards you. I mean, not like menacingly necessarily, but he's just like sort of peeked into this room to see what's going on, and found his armor friend flat on the ground. So he may not be in a super great mood, but he doesn't know what happened. So
I'll end my turn right in front of him. I'll block the way.
okay. Palin, it is your turn. The goblins have scattered their trench coat left on the ground. Their trench coat does have some pieces, some like, I don't know, a small shield with a bunch of like vertical sort of slashes in it, kind of make a, I don't know, just makes kind of like a ruined, weird, uneven surface shield, and some other bits and bobs are sort of left in the in that trench coat, and the owlbear sort of looks relieved. He was probably pretty worried that they were going to get found out and disqualified, and he's actually headed into the mine room now.
Okay, I'm gonna grab that shield and then go looking for like something more larger.
Okay, so make me a roll, please.
Where is the window that I am doing rolls in? It's over here. Don't fail me now. What's with these fucking rolls? 6.
Oh man, you cannot. You just are bad at rolls.
Yes.
And across multiple campaigns.
So you get that shield with some vertical slashes in it. You also find armory. You were looking for something like large, right?
Yeah, large.
You
Mostly
find
flat.
you find a armor set made for like an ogre. It's pretty big. It does have a breastplate you could take off of it. It's not very flat, but it is large.
I'll take it.
Okay, so you
Find
get
some
an
use for it.
ogre's breastplate, so it's pretty big. Next, where are these boys? Oh, so no one. Okay, so Zan, just so that you know, there's a. Well, actually, Palin, you see the polar bear inside of a minecart on top of a bunch of stuff, wheeling with his hands, and the other guy pushing behind him, sort of picking up things as they go their way. They're coming in your direction. They're just kind of picking stuff off the floor and making their way through your room. They're not paying you much mind. And that's. They get towards the far end door. They're going to head into the kitchen area. They've got quite a nicely filled cart. And it is Barry's turn. Barry, you are inside the mine now. Keth has kind of moved you in there. You haven't really looked around in here yet. You just kind of ran in. I think you didn't. I don't remember if you had a chance, but it's a mine. There's a lot of stuff. There's still a lot of boxes and mine carts and all sorts of mining items.
I'm gonna go in front of him. I'm gonna do his turn. Do my turn before he does his turn because Gunnar had to run for a second.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, no, don't go. There's great. Oh. Okay,
Okay.
Menander. Good job.
Okay, so you're in the mine. You can.
I'm looking for something large and flat. Maybe another box, another metal box would be good that we could dismantle.
Okay, so make me a check.
Okay, 22, 17 plus 5. This is fucking. I know where all your rolls are. I had rolled. Well, I did get an 11.
So there is a very large metal chest. So like almost like 3 boxes together. So big. And the top of it does have a lip. So you can wrench it off of the bottom of the box that it's on, like the bottom of the chest if you want. Try and get those hinges off. You might actually need Barry's help to like strengthen it apart. But you could take that, and it's big. It's probably almost as tall as you are.
Okay.
But like only maybe like a foot and a half wide. So it'd actually make a pretty good work surface. And you notice one other thing. You notice that right behind the left-hand side of that chest, there's actually a very small, just narrow enough for someone to walk into, cave entrance. It's like really dark in there, and it was hard to see because there's kind of stuff everywhere. But there's actually like a little cave in there that you could go into. So it's up to you. You can go into the cave and have that be your move action, or you can work with Barry and take this lid off, or you can have Barry take the lid off, and you can go into the
I
cave.
gotta see what's in the cave.
Okay, so you
I'm gonna
walk
tell
into the
Barry to take the lid off.
Okay, once he's back.
He told me to take control of his character, but I don't know what his. Oh, I do know what his strength is. It's +3, so I can do that.
Okay, cool. Oh no, poor Gunner. All right, whatever. So you go into this little cave, and what you find is an explosive cache. You find some like typical bombs, like the big metal round bombs. It doesn't look like. It looks like all of the explosive powder that's inside of it is wet and wouldn't work right now. You need to like probably dry it out. You'd have to do something to get it working.
Do chemistry.
You also find matches, and you find like various like pieces of explosives around that you could potentially use, and lots of like big round bombs.
Okay. All of these go in the bag.
And wire. You find a lot of wire as well.
All of it goes in the bag.
Cool, you get that. And then let's say it's Barry's turn. Barry makes a strength check.
Barry got a 16 plus 3.
Yeah, he gets that. He gets that off. So he's holding that big thing.
Is what's inside the box?
That box has like some lanterns in it.
Okay. Can Barry just
I think
Jump.
Barry used his turn to get that big thing, to get the cover off.
Is the box is like free? You can pick it up.
Yeah, but it's gonna be really big. It's almost as tall as you are, that chest.
Okay, but can Barry use the strength to just flip the box over and just dump it all out?
Oh,
Sure, you want to spill all that lantern oil everywhere?
Yes, I am.
Okay. But he's already used his action to do his strength check.
I know, but I don't. I thought that the box was like attached to the ground.
Oh no.
So like if I would like to take the whole goddamn box.
Okay, so instead, all right.
Just like he goes "Rah!" and flips it upside down and picks it up.
Okay, so
And that's his turn.
Okay, so you've got a very large chest. That's gonna make it hard for him to move because it's very big. So you guys can try and carry it together out. Just because of the sheer length of it, like strength-wise, it's not gonna be a problem. But the length of it, you guys may have to work together to get it out.
Or, and where's the closest wall to the outside?
To the outside? I mean, you Yeah, this little indentation that you went into, that is what you would imagine is an exterior wall.
Okay.
Okay. You're just gonna try and bash your way out?
I have bombs.
That's true, but all of the powder is inactive as far
Oh,
as you
for
can
all
tell.
of them?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so let's keep going. So the goblins, Zan, you're standing in the doorway. The 4 goblins that were previously a stack inside of a trench coat come running back in and start gathering some stuff up and running out. The owlbear also makes his way out. He's like super overburdened with a bunch of stuff. They seem to be like ready to stop, ready to be finished. They're headed out. They look satisfied with their haul. And you guys actually hear like a gong roll off, and it says, I don't know, what is a turn is supposed to be like what, 6 seconds? So a full round of all of you going would be like what? It's a whole round is 6 seconds. Okay, they say 1 minute left, guys. 1 minute. 1 minute warning. I know it's sudden, but we're getting bored out here. And then you hear the crowd sort of murmur weirdly. So I'm gonna give you guys like a couple more rounds to really get your stuff together and get going. Okay. So that's the Shady Boys. So the tree walks into this oily room. Or well, Menander's right in front of the tree. So the tree.
There's 2 oily rooms now.
Well, what did you do? Oh, you.
He dumped out all the lanterns.
I guess they cracked. I guess, and there's some oil on the ground.
Were they all empty?
I mean, they weren't like super full.
Oh. I was just wondering which room is he in now?
He's
in the forge.
The tree was at the door to the forge, heading into the
forge.
kitchen. Menander is standing in the tree's way. And the tree says, "Excuse me, I'd like to go fetch my friend." Menander? Doc? So the tree is standing in front of you and says, "Excuse me, I'd like to go fetch my friend."
Oh, is he on the team with the suit of armor?
Mm-hmm.
I did not realize these things. Otherwise, I would have been out of his way. Sorry. Yeah, no, I'll step aside.
Okay, so the tree sort of walks through slowly. He's like very carefully putting his weird big roots down. And he sort of reaches out a branch that like snakes around the armor's arm, and he drags the armor towards the entrance, leaving an oily trail along with it. And in sort of his other tree branches, picks up a few things off of the ground and sort of piles them on top of the armor. And the armor just sort of like holds on to them, and the tree is like dragging the armor out. And he makes it like to the doorway, but a little bit past into the exploded room. And they've got like some tools on them. They've got some bits of pipe, and they got like a broken breastplate that's like bent at like almost a 90-degree angle, sort of piled on top of the armor guy. Okay, and the armor just is an armor, and the quippers actually like sort of float over to the tree and set themselves into a nook in the tree and drop off some little bits of ball bearings and metal that they've picked up. And Zan, it is your turn. You are at the door to the exploded kitchen area. You have a couple of turns to try and help out. So where would you like to go? Do you want to stay in this room and look around?
I have seen everything that happened on some kind of.
Yeah, so this is like
screen?
being quote unquote broadcast in a sort of magical sense to all of these people that are watching, because this is an enclosed space, and also to you imagine somehow other people that are not in the stadium, though you're not 100% sure how it all works. Magic. And
Magic.
so you have you've seen everything, so you know that this room just has like a bunch of shrapnel and stuff in it. You know that one of the rooms is a forge. That's the one that's got all the oil everywhere. It's probably a poor choice. On the other side, there's an armory, and then if you go through the armory or the forge, at the very end is that mine room that's got like lots of boxes and lanterns and stuff. Also, just a reminder, your character is like in tune with like herbs and stuff like that, like you do gardening, and nobody else really knows much about that. So if you have anything that you would like for when you're cooking to do with like spices or herbs that you know about, you can look around for something specific, or you can look around for something more like general to cooking as well.
So could you just? I know you just said it, but what do we have? What would
Okay.
be?
We have
So-
stuff to make an oven. We have
Yeah.
stuff to make a griddle, I guess, or
Yeah, we
like a
have
stove top.
We have a lot of cutting implements. It seems like good amount of cutting implements. There's
We don't have many bowls.
Yeah, there's not any. I don't think. Palin, did you pick up? You said you have a helmet. You have at least one.
Yeah, I picked up a helmet from the floor.
So we might. Yeah, I would say that the things that bowls would be something that you're missing, or cups, containers that aren't large, is something that you guys are missing. You've got like a rolling pin. You've got those like small pieces of metal.
Yeah, we have little like tea trays.
Yeah, basically, or like little like miniature plates, like little abnormally shaped bits of metal.
So I can put a single cookie on it.
Yeah, like the little petit fours you got given at the beginning of the round.
Yes. So
Oh, utensils. We didn't think about that, did we?
so I did understand it right. There's a room with a lot of boxes.
So you want to head all the way back to the mine?
That's the mine. I'm thinking that what you suggested would probably be the thing Van would look for, since in utensils it looks pretty good. So, is there any hint that there would be ingredients or spices or anything here?
No, I was thinking about things to use with them. Like the food stuff is not being involved right now. All you guys are getting is
Okay.
you're literally building your kitchen. So everything that you would need to process food or spices or herbs is going to be what you get here, because you're not going to get any other tools aside from what you guys already have on them, which Keth actually has like an eating set, like because he's a chef.
I have
He has,
basic
like he has-
cooking utensils and a mess kit,
yeah.
which has like a fork, a knife, and spoon.
But like things for mixing, or if you wanted, like, for example, what I was thinking of was like a mortar and pestle or something like that, or like whatever you would use to like press or process herbs for eating or making pastes or whatever it would be. You guys really don't have like cups or bowls, so that would be something you guys are identified as being poor in stock of right now.
Yeah, then probably more in the utensils
Okay.
category, something like a mortar and pestle, like.
Okay, so why don't you check around in the room that you have now? So give me a perception or an investigation check, either one.
Sure will. Perception.
Whichever is higher is fine.
I'm proficient in perception, so
I think that's good. That gives you some sort of bonus.
a proficiency bonus even.
Yeah. I assume.
That's a natural one.
Okay. You
Stage fright.
okay.
Yeah. Oh God! People are looking at me. What am I doing?
Yeah. Yeah, you like search around and you like pick up a thing and then you're like, no, that's not right. And you pick up another thing and you're like, no, that's not right. And you're just like, you just get kind of like overwhelmed by choice. So you don't really choose anything to pick at this point. You don't find anything that fits with what you were looking for. Sadly. Okay. All right. So next in the turn order, I think we're to Menander. Menander, you are in a room that is covered with oil, but you've cleaned yourself a path. There is a tree man who has dragged his armor friend back over to the door by you, and piled him up with stuff. You've got a box. It's filled with shit. You're also headed out. It seemed like.
Yes, I was planning on going and setting up since the gong went off.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
you can make it out unless there's something you want to stop to do. You would just head out through the kitchen and towards the front door and sort of.
Well, yeah, heading out through the kitchen, I would see Zan, who I
Yep,
didn't
you
know
see
was
Zan.
involved in the competition. So surprise
Yeah.
competitor, right?
No, he's on your team.
Surprise competitor. That's what I said.
Okay, sure. Surprise competitor, sure. So, I mean, you could talk to Zan. You could tell him. You could give
No,
him-
like I'm assuming he's on my team.
Okay,
Like
cool.
having been told nothing. I would say
Yeah.
the person we brought in is with us.
Yeah,
So
you are passing him by.
bonus action, I'd like to use my bardic inspiration,
Okay.
and I'll tell Zan to, or I'll tell Zan that I hope he was watching. He was watching the feed closely. Like I want him to remember what we were searching for, and that's
Oh.
my inspiration die for him.
Cool.
So next time you roll a d20, you can add a d8 to that as well.
Whoa.
Cool.
And I am on my way out because it's a bonus action, and I am leaving.
So I'm assuming you're using you're doing a double move. So you get outside and you're actually the first one of your team that's actually left. So you get to just sort of plop your stuff down, and like you were told, no matter where you put stuff down, you've claimed it. That's your spot. So no one's gonna steal it once it's outside. So you plop your stuff down.
Yep.
Palin,
That's my name.
I think you're mostly alone in the armory now.
Yeah, I don't think there's any further cool stuff in the armory.
Okay, you are welcome to head somewhere else if you'd like.
I'm gonna wander into the mine and see what's up in there.
Okay, so I've sort of given you a rundown of what's in the mine. Boxes, carts, pickaxes, lanterns.
Barry and Kath trying to break down the wall to get out.
You haven't started doing that, though you could, you could talk to each other and allow you to do that.
Oh.
But yeah, there's not anything particularly exciting going on.
Well, we're almost done with, so I think I'm just gonna have a quick look through the boxes, see if there's anything cool.
Roll me a perception check.
Okay, dice. I'm gonna need you to be straight with me here. That's a 10 at least, so that's something.
You got a 10?
Yep.
Okay, so you find some lanterns whose there's a shade over the lantern. I don't know if you like a camping lantern, you know how sometimes they have a small piece over the top to keep the light from going out to focus it down onto the ground, and you find a couple of lanterns that have that little cup loose, and you pull them off and they actually would make you think pretty okay little plates. And they have they could hold a small amount of liquid, also as a very shallow bowl. So you get a couple of those.
I take a couple of those, put them in my sack.
Okay, cool. So you got those. All right. So this is gonna be, I think, our last round. Just so that you know, top of the line, Barry, and I assume that's Alex. You're still running for Barry. I think Gunner's still busy with whatever it is.
Oh, he's back.
Oh,
Back.
okay. There you're here. Okay, so Barry, the situation is Keth has decided you guys might be trying to break through the wall of this place.
I mean, that seems like a valid tactic.
You have a very large chest that Keth has sort of pointed you towards that you've emptied out of a bunch of lanterns. So you have a big chest almost as tall as Keth is, but only a foot or two wide. And then Keth has decided you're going to try and break through the wall.
Okay. I mean, I think the chest should serve as an excellent battering ram.
No, we need the chest to be solid.
So you guys want to talk this out? What you're going to try and do? Do you want to...
How thick are these walls?
They're walls. They're like a
Okay, but
regular-
there's a difference between like if I hit this wall here
Yeah.
with a pickaxe, it's gonna go right through it because it's drywall. Are
Yeah,
these
but past the drywall is brick
also cement?
and cement. It's a regular like for all like this is a it's the inside is like made up to look like it's a facade of stone, but it is made out of stone. It's just not
Okay,
a
that's what I
real
was asking. I
wall.
was asking if it's like, they just put some wooden beams and put some
Okay.
cardboard there.
No,
So
the
this
walls
is
are not cardboard.
actually a house built to spec.
Yeah.
Mm,
Or like magicked to
Oh.
spec, but it's reacting like if you tapped on the wall, you'd be like, yeah, that's not a very thick layer of rock, but there's definitely rock there.
so we
Well-
probably should just go out the door.
Yeah. No one's in the like you've seen Palin come in from the armory, so you know that he's no longer in there. You could ask him if anybody's in there in your way. That you could just like go out that way.
Yeah, do we have a clear path?
Yeah.
Okay.
Out we go.
Do you like just take the empty chest, or are you piling things into it, or are you just
When we go, let's go into the armory, and just anything that fits in the box goes in the box.
Sounds good to
Spears?
me.
Spears, hooks, chains, anything.
So how about this? You guys open the chest and you just walk behind it and push it, and like whatever falls into the box, you just close the cover of it.
Okay.
Sure. We'll deal with what's inside the box once you guys are out of here. But that'll mean that you guys don't have to search for anything. You've just like piled whatever's in your way into the box.
Yeah, and then we just book it.
All right. So you guys are on your way out. And actually, as you guys are on your way out, you see the owlbear, and he's sort of standing in the doorway in front of you. And he says, "What do you got in the box?"
Sorry, say again.
As you guys are headed to the door, you see the owlbear in front of you. He's standing in the doorway, and he says, "What do you guys got in the box?"
Owl bear repellent, and I just want to push through him.
Okay, let's make a strength. Let's make you get advantage because it's the two of you versus him, but let's do a strength contest. Barry can be the one rolling because he's got the higher strength.
Yes, but I also can aid him.
That's what I'm saying. That's what aiding him does.
We should have come up with a better. I just want to like say to Barry, I'm like, "Hey Barry, look at that owl bear shaped wall," and then we just charge.
20?
Okay, let's see what he rolls.
Did you use advantage on that?
Yes.
Okay.
I rolled a 17.
Well, he got a 23.
Damn, he's an owl bear.
So he says,
Unless I
Well-
could have raged at some point, but no.
He says, what have you got in the box again there?
Is this still my turn?
Well, he's asking you a question. You guys can talk freely.
I don't want to tell him anything.
He says, I just want some something that could be used as a cup. That's it. Just once I'll let you guys through. Just give me a cup.
1 second.
I have a cup on me.
I was waiting
Yeah,
for
that's
Barry
what I
to
was,
take his shoe
look-
off.
What's in the explorers pack?
I literally have a cup on me.
You can give me
Yeah,
a cup.
just
But I
throw a
also
cup at
have-
him.
I also have some some pepper, salt, and stuff inside of thing. We can just throw it in his face and then keep charging through him if we want to be assholes.
Yes.
You can try, but you don't know if that's gonna actually do anything to him.
Having had Pepper in my real life person eye, I can tell you it will.
It is to blind him to get him a disadvantage.
I know, but then you're using up your only salt and pepper.
I have more.
Okay.
Is pepper a vegetable component?
No.
Damn.
It's a
Spice.
berry, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a spice. But it's also a prepared, like it's dried,
Yeah.
not a vegetable component.
Okay, so I'm gonna take out this little satchel and be like, I just say, and just like throw it up in front of me, and just like in his eyes, like a bunch of
I'm
powder.
gonna have him make a Constitution saving throw and see if this works. Does that make? Do you think that's
I
reasonable?
don't know, your choice. I have no way to deal with.
Makes sense.
It would be in Pathfinder. It'd be a combat maneuver defense.
Well, you're literally like trying to get it in his eyes.
Yeah, but this is called a dirty trick.
Yeah, he gets confused and it gets in his eyes and he's not happy and he screeches somewhere between what an owl and a bear would sound like. And he just steps back and he's like, "All I bought was a cop," and he runs off.
See,
I call that success.
Okay.
Hi.
Next turn is So the tree is continuing to drag his friend of armor and his ball of whippers out. They're just behind you, Barry and Keth. So they're like, once you leave the facility, they're going to be right after you. There's kind of a line to leave through these big double doors at this point.
If they don't, so what are the rules exactly? If they don't make it back,
well, as long as they have it in their hand, like it's okay.
So even if they don't make it, if the stuff is inside the ring, they get it, or is it just if they have it in their hands?
If they have it in their hands, well, no one's told you, and you see that they're pretty bendy with the rules in this game, so you don't have an idea of it. You just know that once it's outside, no one can steal it from you. Like once
Okay.
you are outside.
So if I tried to lock everyone inside, that would do that.
Yeah, but you would also lose anything that Zan or Palin or Menander had grabbed. Oh no, Menander's outside.
Okay. That's not worth it.
Okay, so the tree is dragging the armor out and leaving kind of an oily trail behind him. Zan, it is your turn. You did it bad. You can try again.
I panic and try to grab the first thing that I can remotely categorize as useful.
Okay, well, roll again for this turn now.
And I am adding the D8 for.
Okay, cool.
Or should I keep that for later?
Up to you. We're almost finished here for today, I think. Like you guys are gonna do some setup of your kitchen and chat with the other people if you want.
Might as well.
16, 19,
Nice.
plus 4, no, plus 5 for the perception, 23.
So you actually look over and there's this like crumpled piece of metal, but you see something sticking out from it. You see like a bit of leather sticking out. And so you upturn this crumpled piece of metal and you find a leather pouch. And inside this leather pouch is actually a beautiful, unharmed, because the leather is padded, silverware set that's got a couple of little bowls, a couple of spoons and forks. It's got it looks like it's made for making drinks in it. It also has like a muddler or like a stick to like squish things with. It's actually a beautiful piece of cocktail ware. And it's got a lot of things that you could use. It's got little toothpicks in it and stuff. So you found something actually quite valuable. So you grab that up. Menander, you're outside.
Let's just assume my turn is spent pulling things out of my box.
Okay, so you're starting to set up. You can ask, and the directors out there will show you to where actually your kitchen is going to be set up. So you can start moving things over there. Palin, do you have any last minute stuff you'd like to do?
No, I think I am good.
Okay, so you head to the door, and so everybody kind of gets out of this kitchen area, and a big gong sounds, and you hear, "Time is up! Let's see what everyone got. Please go to your designated spots with all of your bits and pieces, and let's see what you can put together." So we're sort of out of turn order now. You guys all have a bunch of different stuff, and I'd love for you guys to kind of brainstorm how you're going to set up your kitchen.
Okay, so
Um,
we got. Am I muted? No.
No, you're good.
So we got
So does
stuff. It's the only thing I didn't write down.
Okay,
Mhm.
so does everybody want to kind of go through what they have again, and then you guys can kind of say
I
like,
think we should do it the other way.
oh, okay,
I think we should say, let's make these things, and how are we going to make these, and then we'll just mark out
Okay.
the stuff we use.
perfect. That works too. Go for it.
So we want to make an oven.
Hmm.
Why don't I
Inside
write these things down in the chat as you say them? Oven.
oven. So what are we making an oven with? We got a big box and a square box.
Yeah. So Menander got a smaller box, or well, yeah, like a box. You got like a
You just
very
held your hand out about 2.5 feet wide.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm not on camera. So yeah, you guys got like he got like a reasonable sized box, like a medium sized box. You got a very large chest. It sounded like you wanted to use the top of that chest as like a counter. Or,
Yeah.
like, a
So
frying space.
and then I want to take all take the box apart.
Mhm.
Since I was thinking if we could fashion up some kind of grill, we could get a really good barbecue going.
Yeah, you do. You have a I think you have a bunch of like poles and stuff, and you also have a shield with like vertical slashes through it that I think Palin has, right, Palin?
Yep, I've got like, I mean, it's basically a thing that would be on a grill.
Or a very
it
large
called?
cheese grater.
Um.
A grill top is usually what it's called.
Yes, that word.
So
Or a grill grate.
we don't really have large slats of metal.
I have this ogre breastplate.
Just have that.
We don't have any like clippers either.
Clippers. You got some tools. Some forging tools.
Do I have anything that can clip off, cut, like
No.
wire cutters or anything?
I don't think so.
We-
You could bend things. You have lots of hammers, so you can always like bend something back and forth. I would say the best thing to do is just use the whole parts that you have. No one's going to end up with a perfect kitchen because you're all doing it from like weird bits of shit. So like it'll work out. It'll be fine.
Okay, so we want to take the huge box, break the lid, in part of it, so that we could take, because we're gonna fill that with coals, and then we'll put the lid down, and we'll have like a griddle on one side, then we can put the shield grill on the other,
Perfect.
and
That
then
sounds
we
nice.
can we can take the part that we took off, and bend it so that it fits inside the oven, so that we can put the coals in the bottom, and put stuff on top of it to kind of rest it.
Okay, so you guys at this point you have. So why don't you just take some notes on what equipment you guys have completed? You have an oven with a rack in it. You have a grill top that has a flat griddle and an actual grill. So those are the things. you
Yeah,
got.
so we can have direct heat on flat
And-
surface, direct heat. We can do both direct and indirect on
Okay.
that stuff.
So take note that you have an oven with a rack in it, a
Okay.
grill top, and a griddle top.
Oven with rack. What is the grill top?
And a griddle, like a griddle or a
Oh.
frying top.
Top. That's some pretty. We also do we have any pans that we can do like open fire cooking? We have one.
You would
pan.
need to affix a handle to it, but I have the mending spell, so I'm allowed to do that. We just need a handle. I have a bent pan with low sides and no handle.
I also have a pot that has a hole in it, so it will need to be mended.
Yeah, that could probably be mended to just be a pot.
Mm.
'Cause it's just got a hole in
I
it.
found some short swords. We could probably cannibalize those to get handles.
Yeah.
I would love a frying pan with a like cross guard and pommel.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so
Now,
Then
is
why
mending
not?
a cantrip? A cantrip?
Yes, it
thing?
is.
Yep.
It costs time to cast. I think it costs a full minute. I'll go check.
we're not
Yeah.
timed on the kitchen creation though.
I mean, I'd say you probably can't do more than like 6 mending spells. Like
6
that seems like a
minutes?
lot. I mean, because he's got there's other things that you're going to be doing between them. I don't know. I guess you could.
We'll just devote Menander to entirely mending stuff.
It's just like if people hand you something, you mend it. People hand you a different thing, you mend it.
Yeah, so he's just using it to like he's basically a welder.
Okay. I'll give you like 10 minutes worth of
There is
10
a
minutes.
single caveat.
What?
It is as long as the tear or break is no longer than 1 foot in any given dimension. I don't imagine this going to be a problem with a kitchen, but
Well, I mean, if you wanted to like if they had broken the top off of that chest or like broken it down the middle, you wouldn't have been able to do it. And like the shield that has those lines in it, you don't want to. But if you had wanted to repair all of those lines, I would say that wouldn't work. But almost everything else that you're working with is like rather small, so that'll be fine. Like the handle onto the pan is going to be like
So we have
maybe 4 inches,
we have a short sword pan.
and you have
short
a
pan.
pot. And then you have like an actual pot with no longer a hole in the bottom of it.
I also have a helmet that we could turn into a pot, maybe.
Yeah, Palin has a helmet you could either use as a bowl or a pot or whatever you want.
And we just have a pot.
What if we need 2 pots?
Well, that's the thing. Do you want to put a handle on the helmet?
What would you ever need 2 pots for? Like, really?
Many things.
I have at
So
least one recipe from Hub that requires 2 pots.
we can also use
Most
the
of my
helmet for a.
recipes are 2-pot recipes.
Yeah.
We can use the helmet for a bowl instead.
But if you put a handle on it, you could still use it as a bowl.
That's true.
You want to stick like a dagger handle onto the helmet, just like shove it through. Ta-da! Shove it through like the visor, like where there's a hole in the visor on the top.
Well, no. What we should do is we should pierce the metal of the helmet itself, so that when I cast mending on it, it affixes the blade of the dagger and
so
welds.
You have a
properly.
helmet with a dagger stuck through it.
Perfect.
Brilliant.
Don't lick this bowl clean.
You guys also have a big hammer, like a big flat hammer.
That we can use to beat stuff down, which
Yeah,
I'm
'cause I've got a
assuming we're
bent
doing for
pan.
shaping.
Yeah.
You have a bent pan?
Yes, I do.
unbend
It has
the
low
pan.
sides but no handle. We just put a short sword handle on it. That was
And you-
bent.
Yeah.
So
Oh, well, now it's unbent.
Well, the mending would have also unbent it.
no, mending fixes tears and breaks. It does not fix bends.
Oh. Okay, so you can bang that back into order.
And so
You also have a rolling pin.
Yep.
Um.
And I have like bowls / plates.
I have
Yeah.
some
that I
metal
could shape
coasters.
lanterns.
You want to make some fancy things?
Yeah, you've got coasters. You've got bowls / plates. You've got a really nice like cocktail kit that Zan like snatched up for you last minute.
With a
I'm
24, I think.
20 was it 24 or 26? It was something ridiculous.
I also have a large axe, but I don't know what we're going to do with that.
Well, if you needed to butcher anything, it might be useful.
Also, an axe is metal, and it is flat, and it is wide.
Yeah, you could use it as like a very small frying pan.
You could
Or
also
we
use
could
it to
use it to cut
tenderize
the
meat.
wood.
Yeah, you could. You guys also have a bunch of like wood bits. that you could
Charcoal.
use as charcoal for kindling and for starting fires. And
Do we have any spears? And do we have any chains? And do we have any?
Oh yeah, let's check what was in your box.
I mean, if we need to start a fire, I can help.
Well, we need to have a continuous fire.
Well, as long as we have kindling, I can just cast burning hands or firebolt or control flames.
I do have kindling.
Okay, so give me 4 options of what you want to be inside of that box.
Also, if somebody hits me with a piece of wood, I can cast Hellish Rebuke as a reaction on it.
Okay, give me.
Okay, so I want spears, chains, and hooks.
There's chains, hooks. Wait, that's not it. Hold on. You have chains and hooks, but no spears.
Ah.
I think someone else got spears. Palin, did you have spears? Did someone else pick up
It's
spears?
swords.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not pick up spears.
Yeah, so I don't think there's any.
Do we have any?
You have chains and hooks, though.
Okay, so what would the check be to beat that ogre breastplate into a pot or like a cast iron pan shape with the lid without having an anvil?
Oh yeah, you guys didn't end up with an
Oh
anvil.
no, we forgot an anvil. You're probably pretty high, right?
Well, so long as there's like a railroad tie or something in there.
I guess what you could do is fill the ogre plate with bombs. Like take the bombs that you took, like the round bombs, fill the ogre plate with it, and then like slam the hammer into the side to like shape it into the shape of the pile of bombs that you've put into.
Oh yeah, I also have all those bombs. I want to pour out all the stuff and clean out the inside of the bombs.
Oh, the other thing you could do is take the ogre plate, place it on top of the chest, and just drop bombs in it until it bangs it down into like a bowl shape.
Oh, Barry just punches it down.
Yeah.
Barry could punch it a bunch. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just do that. I'm gonna be emptying. I want to like open up the bombs, empty all the stuff out, and then I can have my little
Bomb bowls, I guess.
yeah bomb bowls.
I was thinking little cocktail glasses. You cut the tops off.
How are you gonna
You
cut
just
the
have
tops
like
of
coconut
bombs?
glasses.
Yeah, I think you just have to stick straw in there.
But my aesthetic.
I don't think you can cut the top off, but it does have a hole already. But you could take, I'm sure there's like metal straws in your cocktail kit. You could just stick a straw in there and be like,
Well, I
"This
mean,
drink is the
the
bomb."
bomb has it's either gonna be a screw or a hole.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's a hole already. But you're not gonna drink like you put a straw in it because it'd be easier to drink. Otherwise, you'd spill it all over your face.
That's true. And then I'll turn the other ones into. So we'll make so
Some
bomb
drink
glasses,
glasses.
bomb bowls.
And you have a big ogre plate, very uneven bowl, or like big.
I want a lid.
Oh, you want that to be the lid?
Yeah, my plan is to have a pan with a lid so that we can suspend it over a fire and do like camp cooking.
We could use my small metal box,
No,
which
that's the
has a
oven.
lid.
I think he's using that as the oven.
I thought they were using the Giganto box as the oven.
I think they're using the Giganto box, or well, the idea was to use the Giganto box as a like put coals inside of it,
And it would
full
be
to the top, and then close the top of it and use the top as a griddle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I got you now.
And the small box that Blaine said was a small box, she held her hands up to show how big it is, and it was 2.5 feet by, so like it's a 2.5 foot cube. It's not that small.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a reasonable oven.
It's small for an oven, but big for a box, I guess.
Well, it's a reasonable sized box. If we stuck it in a pile of coals or something, would become an oven.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a little Dutch oven.
Yeah.
So we got that. We got our. I don't think
Would you
my
like some cutlery, or do you have cutlery covered?
we have fancy silverware.
No. I mean like to prepare the food, not to serve it.
Oh well, I've got daggers.
And Palin grabbed some swords and a large axe.
I am not going to attempt to dice an onion with a sword.
Well, you may have to.
I have knives. I actually
I'm
have a.
pretty sure they did that on like regular, ordinary Swedish mealtime several times. It is possible. But Palin also has like
A cooking
daggers
kit.
and a mess kit.
Yeah.
Right. The
'Cause
mess kits
adventuring
can
gear.
explicitly be used as a cooking pan and a plate or shallow bowl.
Yeah, so you each probably have a mess kit, so you'll have a plate and a cooking pan.
I also have cooking utensils, which will contain a chef's knife and other tools
Oh, so you have a
necessary,
special knife for it.
necessary to pursue a craft or trade.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, you have a knife roll probably.
I probably have like a knife roll.
So you guys are good on like those sorts of smaller things.
So, I think we're set.
I think you guys are good. So,
Of the things in my inventory, the only thing we didn't use was the rolling pin.
which you'll just use as a rolling pin, I imagine.
Yeah.
Right. But it's just like writing down all the things we have is the
Mhm.
only thing that we didn't mention.
Yeah.
I have
Do you want to? Yeah, you have that. Alex actually has it written down. Rolling pin.
Okay, good.
I have also a thing that says jagged pipe.
You also have chains and hooks.
I know, but I can't do the thing that I wanted to do with it.
Well, maybe. I mean, I guess you could like build up like a thing where you like, if you had like a really large piece of meat, you could just stick a chain into it and like roast it over an open fire.
Yeah, I guess. We'll make like a little, you know.
Also, the mess kit pots that you have probably have a handle.
Oh yeah, they close.
Yeah.
Okay, so I still make that. I put like a little.
So you're making like a campfire, like I don't even know, like the thing that like holds like a tripod over a campfire.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. You want to write that down? Okay. So while you guys were working on this, you noticed that the crowd has emptied out. Obviously, this is like relatively boring for them. They weren't actually here for that. And once you have all sort of finished up, you guys finish. You're sitting down. You're relaxing. And the other teams have sort of slowed down. There's no more banging and everything. The two hosts come over to you guys. They walk away from a previous team that they were talking to, and they walk over to you guys, and they sort of just strike up a conversation. They say, "So how did that go for you guys? Was it exciting? Did you enjoy it?"
It could have gone better.
Oh,
We didn't get an anvil.
Oh, I see. Your performance. I mean, every year. Let me back up. I don't know if you guys have watched this program before, but every year we kind of change it up a little bit. And I was just wondering, how you felt about this year's competition. Are you excited to move on? Do you feel like you had a good time?
I think that you need a better vetting process.
Oh, says the dwarf lady. She says, "Oh, the goblins. Oh, just goblins. I mean, you got a whole person out of it, a whole extra person."
Oh, some casual racism. Good.
Balin leans over and he's like, "I'm a dragon."
I'm a dragon.
4 goblins does not equal 1 gnome. Yeah, I think. Well, look at our kitchen. How do we stack up to the normal?
So the elf guy walks over to your kitchen and looks at different things. He starts opening it. The dwarf lady is just like, "I don't know. I don't cook. I just she's like, "I don't know. Looks like a bunch of metal. I guess it'll work." And then the elf is just like, I see. Yes, I see. You've definitely gone for a lot of heat-based things. Not going to be a lot of cold dishes coming from this kitchen. That's fine. Looks good.
So
you
who
have some
are?
versatility here.
What do we have to look forward to?
Oh, that's exciting. The next round, you're going to be gathering your ingredients. It's going to be quite a challenge.
So just to make sure, this is not a competition. So we're not cooking our competitors, right? So this is not that kind, that dark turn.
I look at Zan like, what the hell?
The two hosts look at each other and they look at you and they're like, "What? What? People are watching this. Like, people, like like normal people are watching this."
Sorry, I don't get. I'm from. We have a very closed community. We don't get cable.
I see. Yes. Yes. Okay. No. But it will be a challenge gathering your ingredients. It won't just be a walk in the park. Um, actually, you guys should think now. There's I mentioned this to all the other teams, so I'm not giving you an edge or them an edge over you, but there is going to be some hunting to be done. There's going to be some gathering to be done.
Oh, very good. Both specialities of mine.
So there's probably going to be, we haven't ironed out completely the details yet. We're still working a little bit on some guests we can get in, but there's going to be somewhere for some haggling. There's going to be some hunting. There's going to be some gathering. And you guys are also going to have to, figure out what it is you are going to want to cook. And then the final round is obviously going to be the cooking, which will have its own fun little twist. But I think you should focus your minds now on who's gonna do what when it comes to gathering your ingredients. And then once you have all your ingredients, that'll be one round over. We'll make sure that we magic them once you've gotten them so that they stay fresh until the cooking portion is underway. And good job there with the little bit of combat you guys got into. That was exciting. It's too bad it didn't last very long, but we're always interested in seeing a little rubbing of heads.
Damn.
Well,
You
I
guys-
mean, there's always round 2.
round 2 is coming up, and everyone will be doing all of these things relatively simultaneously. So you'll be head to head, maybe hunting the same animals, trying to pick the same berries off of a tree. It'll be exciting.
Oh, high intensity berry picking.
I
Ah!
think
Oh,
the tree might have you beat on picking, or maybe it just won't feel like. I don't know. Maybe it won't like that. Who knows? We'll find out.
Yeah.
I haven't really had a discussion with him over the ethics of an awakened tree grabbing roots and herbs out of the ground. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
But right now, Barry is thinking about perhaps some sort of fish steak.
Oh yes, fishing. Yes, we should think about that. And they sort of start talking to each other, and they're like, yes, what kind of, oh yeah, that's a good idea.
What about quippers?
Water.
Exactly.
No, well, not the quippers that are competing. Obviously, again, we're not running a cook your opponents sort of
Just saying,
situation.
if we're gonna eat any opponent, that would be a pretty good one to eat.
I mean, the tree. I don't know what kind of tree it is. Anyway,
I've never eaten a tree. Have you?
well, but you might have eaten the fruit off of a tree. What if it's an apple tree?
I have eaten parts of trees occasionally.
Sprouts, leaves. Anyway, no matter. Neither here nor there. We've got to go discuss a sort of ocean set now that you've mentioned fishing. We hadn't thought about it. Who should we get? Sharks. And they sort of walk off while chatting to each other about what
No sharks.
sharks they want to.
No. God damn it! It's always sharks. It's always fish.
So the PA, the sort of like assistant that came and brought you out, sort of walks up to all of you and escorts you back to your little green room. And your room now has like some bedrolls, enough for all of you laid out in it. The couches are kind of pushed aside, and you guys can take a rest there. You also might remember that you can head back to your little island base. If you turn the hand knob correctly, you could quickly head back there and either drop off some stuff or chat with someone. But
I'll sneak in some proper cooking stuff.
I have a pot, a bucket, and some other cooking supplies, but I think they'll be suspicious when I bring out these new shiny pots and stuff.
Yeah, they might check you before you go back to your kitchen with what you have on you. So
will they let me use the cooking utensils?
I was gonna say that they told you to leave any cooking utensils you were gonna use like at your station, at your kitchen station.
Okay.
Before you left, they were like, "Oh, is there anything that like, don't take anything back to the green room with you because we're not gonna let you."
I'm gonna go back and fill up my ball bearings and my grease vials.
Okay. Yeah, guys, unless you guys have anything you want to do before next session, you guys can chat about, I mean, you don't have to do it now, but you can chat between now and the next session about who
I'll
wants
be cooking because I don't have to make any checks for
No,
it.
there's not cooking in this round. It's gonna be
Oh,
hunting. There's gonna be like my idea right now, and again, this is subject to change, but just so that you guys can make preparations for how you want to prepare for this next session, is someone is likely going to be, or someone or someones are going to be in an area where you're going to be hunting like animals, and or monsters, to cook. Someone is going to be, um, there's going to be the opportunity to shop for some things that you couldn't possibly gather on your own, like milk or something like that. There's going to be some way for you guys to gather herbs and spices and fruit and berries and vegetables. And then probably there'll be somewhere you can fish or get aquatic foodstuffs. So those will be the big four that I'm thinking about now. That might change, but you might want to think about Menander might want to stay by the water if he wants, and I know Zan will probably go gathering. That seems
What if-
likely.
You know,
Okay.
I think Zan and Keth should stay by the water.
No! I'm not going near any water, and you cannot make me. Okay, so I'm going to end the broadcast now.
Alright, bye.
I'm literally a hunter, so
Yeah, I think you'll be taking the lead on that.